That was what we did for him.
There's your way of identifying where he was at all times.
Exactly. Yeah. Without a leash.
Yes.
Or a fishing pole to hook him, right? You know. So.
That's what Jansen would use.
Yeah, that's pull out the rod and reel.
Teddy will be running down at the zoo, and all of a sudden John will go, reel him in, baby.
Yep. Zip.
248-539-9797 is the telephone number. Don't forget, Tigers taking on the Texas Rangers this afternoon right here on 97.1 The Ticket. Joey Wentz on the mound. Man, has he been struggling lately.
Yeah.
As we talked to AJ earlier, you don't know what to do with him right now. I mean, he's actually going to start today, and then we'll try to figure it out. Hopefully, he'll get his stuff together.
Yeah, especially against a team that is really good at scoring runs and getting hits, getting on base, and getting them across the plate.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have to figure out. I mean, Matthew Boyd obviously is in a better situation than Wentz, but he hasn't been able to go more than 5 or 6 innings at all either.
Right,
I mean,
his best are the first 3 innings.
Yeah.
Once you get past that, it seems like it's a gamble.
Yeah, maybe he should be the opener. Good morning to Pam. You're 97 The Ticket.
Hey, I had 3 kids, and they were 7, 4.5, and 1, and I used the harness, and my daughter is 37 now. They're really popular in England, and we lived in Chicago. We could travel. My husband traveled for business, so I would take them to the Science and Industry Museum. She could explore. She could see everything, and she didn't have to sit in her stroller, and she experienced life.
Was it just your youngest that had the harness?
Yes, because the other 2 were, I mean, there was 4.5 and so they were old enough to listen, but they were boys. She was the girl. She hated her stroller, but she could walk around and experience stuff and touch things. And it was just, if they all went in 3 different directions, I only had 2 hands.
Wow.
Yeah, I understand that.
So, and she did not think it was, I mean, she talks about it now, and she doesn't think it's bad, and she used them for her kids. Okay. But in England, in Europe, it's much more popular than it is here.
I'm definitely seeing more of them.
37 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, for sure, like I did at the zoo, yeah.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Real quick, I've moved on from the leash and use the electric collar now. My kids won't leave my side.
The electric collar.
This topic is fascinating. I'm a parent of 2 young kids. I'm against the leash. It's for lazy, distracted parents who can now spend time on their phones instead of being involved with their kids. Try holding their hands. That's Jim in Shelby. All right, coming up next, somebody who should be on a leash, and that's Wojo, 97.1.
Or the electric collar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he's on a leash right now, but I do know
who's holding the other end.
It's Wednesdays with Wojo. And Woj, please remind us the last time because I remember it vividly when you had a pulley rupture.
Oh yeah, that's where your little finger breaks off, right? Or
I was going to ask
that.
you if you knew where that was first.
It was in the finger. Yeah, don't even get me started on the Tigers' injuries yet, because I do want to say this. Stoney, if any adult needed a leash, it's probably you, don't you think? Number one. And number two, why are you hating on the leashers? It's at a zoo. You know, kids jump into those gorilla pits in the lion cages all the time.
Oh, it's to prevent the flying poop?
Yeah, well, no. Haven't you seen the cases where a kid falls in or crawls underneath the little fence and almost gets mauled by a lion? That's the one place I would use a leash on a kid.
No.
The zoo.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Or mom and dad could be standing right there.
Yeah, exactly.
There are certain situations or individuals that I would say deemed necessary. And I know Stoney, I think that's a great observation. I do believe Stoney as an adult, maybe Cindy has one. And that it just keeps him when he's looking down or looking at his phone and walking around, that he doesn't run into strangers and
either that or
into a street.
He only uses it on his birthday. But
there's that too.
All right, Woj.
Okay.
Woj.
We got weird.
Woj.
You started it.
Woj. All right, play doctor for me now, Woj. I'm talking about the Tigers.
Is that another one?
I'm talking about the Tigers. You guys are sick.
French doctor out there.
You guys are sick.
Let's go to Heather with the news.
All right, Woj. This team is, they've caught our imagination, and now they can't stay healthy. What's the deal?
I'll tell you exactly what the deal is. All right, they can't shake the leash of Detroit's curse. Let's put it this way. And I actually thought about this kind of metaphysically, sort of. The Lions, just as they emerge from whatever curse or whatever has haunted them for these many years, they transfer it over to the Tigers.
Jump the street.
These are all things that, and I don't think Bobby Lane ever played for the Tigers. I could be wrong. But these are all kind of ridiculous things that always happen to the Lions. And, I mean, on the same day, Erod and Riley Green, it doesn't look like Green's going to be out long, I don't think. And also on the same day, they ran into a major league team and pretty much got done to them what we sort of thought would be done to them. Texas is an unbelievable hitting team.
Yes, they are.
But still, it's, and the Tigers will play some other weak teams, so don't jump completely off of whatever wagon I don't know what wagon they're pulling, but that was eye-opening in every way.
Well, the next 15 days, they do have some division opponents. They also have some tough opponents. And if Erod is able to come back, and let's just say it's on the shorter side of things, he misses 2 starts. Riley Green, if it's only a few days. Veerling, they're able to get him back by mid-June. Where is this team sitting come the 15th of June when they travel to Minnesota?
Well, I love what they've done recently, obviously, getting within a game of first place and a game of 500. But I have felt all along it's a little bit of an illusion. Call it smoke and mirrors or walks and balks or whatever they're using to get there. That said, the Riley Green thing will be damaged, even if it's more than a week. The E-Ride thing, you know me. I'm often accused of always looking on the bright side, always looking for a silver lining. What about this as a silver lining? Say E-Rod is out, and it sounds like it could be 4 to 6 weeks, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, on the high end? Okay, so then he'd have to rehab and come back, and then it's pushing against the trade deadline, and obviously he would have much less trade value, and he might even recognize that he damages his value for a contract at the offseason. So he takes the player option and stays with the Tigers. What about that?
Oh, you think the pulley injury is cause for opt-in?
Yeah, I mean, think about that. First of all, I do think it severely damages the trade thing. And secondly, he might think, well, I have it pretty good here, and who knows how they might view me having missed a lot of time. Let's stay here, and let's go win the pennant in a few years, or eventually.
Yeah.
How about that?
That would be nice.
I'll take a few years.
That is, you actually wrote Mr. Brightside for the Killers. I mean, so that.
Yes, You don't think that's a possibility, though?
Yes.
Oh, sure. I think that's reasonable deduction that could happen, and some would look at it as, all right, well, if he was going to opt out, yeah, we'd love to have him back, but is there better value in actually moving him if he is able to come back at the trade deadline for the future of the few years that you mentioned?
Well, if he comes back and is back on point as he has been, well, then, yeah, you do have to trade him then. But I don't know. You're kind of running out of time for him to recover, come back, have 2 or 3 really good outings to convince everybody. I don't know. I think there may be a slight, tiny little positive. Maybe.
Wojo, our good buddy, Larry Brown sends his love to you. In fact, he even said he wants to write a book. And I said, well, Wojo will write it. He goes, that's a good idea. So,
he'll also star in the made-for-TV version.
On him.
I know you. I know you have. He talked a little bit about what this Piston team now needs, and it's just one voice from the organization to be all in sync. It sounds like the Lions is what they need. Would you agree with that sentiment?
That's a LB from a distance. I assume he's not living in the area, right?
He lives in Charlotte, by the way.
Charlotte, okay. That's pretty on point as well, because I think it's true. I mean, it is something that the Lions, and give Sheila Hamp credit, she said from the start, we're all going to be on the same page, collaborative no matter what, and they clearly are. The Pistons, you can't tell. I mean, you hear whispers that maybe Troy Weaver wanted different draft picks, and he wants Kevin Ollie, and maybe the others don't, and Tom Gores. It looks right now like dysfunctional and ridiculous. It doesn't have to end up being dysfunctional and ridiculous. They might end up getting a decent coach or one that becomes a decent coach. But I feel like they had so much banked or hoping on Wembanyama. And when that didn't happen, they're like, okay, well, we got to back down on who we could get as coach. Listen, nothing against Kevin Ollie. It would be a very uninspiring hire. Doesn't mean it would be an awful hire. But it's really not even about the head coach right now with the Pistons. It's about what they're going to do with the draft pick, and are they going to make trades and everything else. And, yeah, they seem to be rudderless right now.
Well, who do you want, and who do you think it's going to be? And it could be the same person.
Well, I wanted Monty Williams.
Right.
And reportedly they made a run, and reportedly may have tried to circle back and sweeten the pot even more, supposedly. I don't know if that's just put out there to satisfy people or if they are. I guess I think it's going to be Kevin Ollie, but I don't say that with much confidence. Jaron Collins from New Orleans and who was at Golden State. I think that would be kind of interesting.
I read, according to Yahoo, he's out of the equation. Right now it's either Lee or Ollie as far as those guys. I
mean, Lee is moderately interesting, having coached for a while with the Milwaukee Bucks. I know Budenholzer hasn't gone anywhere. You got Doc Rivers floating around out there. I'm not sure why or if he would be interested in this. I don't know. I mean, honestly, if you ask me right now of those options, and if nobody else is on the table, I think I would take the Milwaukee Bucks assistant Charles Lee, only based on pedigree. Of course, you'd be taking a guy that his head coach just got fired and they got drummed out of the playoffs, but that's okay. He has a championship ring.
That's true.
I guess that's who I would take.
We have the NBA Finals beginning tomorrow night, Denver and Miami, and obviously Miami and South Beach, whatever. They have 2 teams in the finals. Who do you like in the NBA first, and why?
Stoney, as much as I love Jimmy Butler and this Miami Heat team with its 12 undrafted free agents and the great Eric Spoelstra, the Denver Nuggets will sweep the Miami Heat.
Oh, my Lord.
Wow.
Well, Hakeem Olajuwon just heard you because that was the infamous sweep versus Orlando that you predicted back in 95?
Yeah, somewhere back there.
Wow.
Listen, I really do enjoy watching the Heat play, but if you think Caleb Martin and whatever, Gabe Vincent, and even Duncan Robinson to a certain degree, although he was an undrafted free agent, but if you think they can keep up the pace, and you say, well, what pace? They lost 3 in a row at one point. Well, the Celtics are the softest, lamest, pseudo-superstar-led team in recent history. The Nuggets are the real deal. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, the best combo in the league, bar none, although Stoney probably wants old LeBron and Anthony Davis. It will be the Nuggets in a sweep.
Wow. I think they're going to win. I said, gee, surprise, 6 games when John asked me. So
really?
Mm-hmm.
It took him 6. That's weird.
I know. Exactly. That's why I said surprise. Yes, indeed. All right, what about hockey?
What is Jansen taking?
I think it's going to be 5. I don't think they get swept. I think they find a way to win 1. That's Miami, but Denver controls this series.
And I'm taking Vegas in 7 in hockey.
Really? Mm-hmm. I'll take Vegas in 5, I think, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they've been a great team for many, many, many decades.
Yes, they're just going to rely on their history.
That's right.
What do they throw on the ice? Not octopus?
Dice.
Poker tape?
Yeah.
Dice.
Fuzzy
exactly.
dice.
Yeah, fuzzy dice. They must, because the Panthers flow rats. The Panthers.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yes,
yeah.
they still do, actually.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. All right, Woj, we'll be listening to you and Jeff Rieger tonight. You have 2 full hours.
Woo! Can't wait.
All right, Wednesdays with Wojo here with Stoney and Jansen, 97.1 The Ticket. 248-539-9797. Referenced Larry Brown. He was on the podcast that was dropped yesterday, me and Evan doing it, Restore the Floor. You can download all our podcasts, whether it's John and TJ, Necessary Roughness, Mike and Jim Costa, Cash the Ticket, Rico with the 5-Star Zone, and Pat Caputo and Bustin' Balls. Larry's an interesting figure. You know, I admit I'm a huge fan. I got along with him. A lot of people didn't. And he was, as we say, GTM, good to me. He had a good relationship with myself and Woj, and maybe I'm biased a little bit. But it is true that, you know, he does live in a fantasy world at times when it comes to the actual recording of truths. And so some of the stuff that we talked about includes Allen Iverson. There's a documentary that's coming out tonight on the NBA Network about the 2001 Sixers, his relationship with Iserman. We talked about the 2003 draft. That was before he came here, or, you know, when they drafted Darko. We talked about him coaching the Nuggets in the ABA. Lots of basketball talk. And the Pistons as well, including the current state of the Detroit Pistons. And I asked him about who should they hire right now to be their head coach. Yeah, that would be nice. Because that's why we just talked to Wojo about it. That's what the Lions seem to be right now.
Yeah, I mean, very connected. I mean, you know, you see the bromance going on between Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. Larry also talked about the infamous draft, and crazy that he said that he was surprised that the Pistons drafted who they did at number 2. I don't think Larry Brown was surprised on draft night that they drafted him. Maybe he was surprised like a week before, and that's what the consensus was. But I think everybody knew that's what they were going to do. And finally, the fact that Larry Brown was let go after the 2005 NBA Finals, he kind of saw the writing on the wall. Now, granted, this is his version of history. Others will say differently because that he secretly wanted the Knicks job, that he was talking to Dan Gilbert with the Cleveland deal and all that stuff. But here's Larry's version. And that hip surgery made Gar Hurd the head coach for a while. They lost games, got off to a rough start. And the organization obviously felt that was part of the reason they didn't have home court advantage in the finals. Now, who knows the real story? It's always Larry's version, other people's version. And as always, the truth is usually somewhere in between. All right, time for news. Here's Heather.
Well, this is pretty cool. A treasure worth $3 million is rumored to be buried on South Padre Island.
Oh, really?
Maybe you can plan your next trip there if you're headed for a vacation.
Take your shovel.
Yeah, yes. I would, and some friends and some backup.
So he can take his eye patch.
Absolutely.
There you go. Rumor has it that there was a man named John Singer who buried this treasure back in the late 19th century. He and his
sewing
family.
Machine guy?
You know what? What was the first name?
I don't know. It's the
Singer
sewing machine.
Yeah,
Yes.
You're right. Well, when I saw that, I'm like, that sounds familiar. I think that's why. Anyway, I don't think it's the same guy because this guy made a lot of money because of his shipping business.
Oh, okay.
And in order to keep all the money he was making safe, he decided to bury it. And he also buried things like some silver bars and Spanish coins. And it's apparently in this large sand dune. So you're going to want a lot of shovels. It's called Money Hill. Which is what it's called now.
Which should be easy to find.
He, unfortunately, and his family were forced to leave the island during the Civil War, but he did return to go get back all of his riches, right? But he could never find it.
Oh,
so the
bummer.
rumor has it it's still there somewhere.
It's like he lost his password.
Exactly. Only to never, ever, ever get it back. So if you're into that kind of thing, good for you. If the guy who buried it can't find it,
yeah.
Good luck.
More power to you.
Yeah. Michigan gas prices went up 3 cents after Memorial Day to an average of $3.60 a gallon. But those prices could come down depending on summer travel trends. So basically, there was a big increase in demand in gas because so many people were hitting the road for Memorial Day weekend. And if this demand decreases now that the holiday is over, we could see some more stability at the pump. So I'm guessing that's what's going to happen because that's normally how it works.
Yes.
Yes. The Scripps National Spelling Bee is going on right now.
Oh.
When I could find it on television, it's something I would watch. Like if I was just scrolling and I came across it, I would always tune in. Now I'm not even sure where it's airing, but it's on right now. And because it's on, Google Trends just revealed the top trending how to spell searches in each state. So when people get on Google and they're confused about how to spell things. So you're how to spell. And then, of course, you have to attempt to spell it if you're going to Google it or you say it.
Can they be proper names?
They can, but those are not in any of the top searches.
Okay.
And surprisingly, most of the words are pretty easy to spell. Words like sugar, quarter, science, daughter. Yeah.
Really?
That's exactly what I thought, too, that face you're making. And
That's my confused face.
Then there's some more, I guess you could say, complicated words, like shenanigans was a word people weren't sure how to spell.
All right. So it's a good bar in D.C.
In Michigan, the top how to spell search was miscellaneous, which is better than sugar.
Sugar,
L-L-A-N-E-O-U-S.
That must have been Ohio's, right? Sugar.
Oh, you know what? No, it wasn't. I think it was in...
Maybe it was just win.
I might have to go back through all of them and
see. It was the.
But like North Carolina can't spell awesome. Iowa can't spell Thursday.
Day of the week.
What? Arkansas and Illinois can't spell tomorrow. Those are the top searches in the state. New York can't spell quarter. Texas can't spell pyramid. Idaho can't spell sentence. And Nevada can't spell problem.
Problem?
Yes, they're ridiculous. Oh, Georgia can't spell queen. Pennsylvania, Stoney, can't spell people.
P-E-E-P-L-E, right?
Yeah. We'll quiz Jimmy on Queen when he gets in here.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to get to this really quick because I'd never heard this before. Obviously, it's mosquito season. They're out and about.
Yeah.
And if you want to protect yourself in other ways than just using, a citronella candle or, off bug spray.
DEET.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. If you don't want to use those things and you want to try something different colors can actually repel mosquitoes. Wow. So if you wear different colors, that could help. If you want to repel them, you want to wear blue, but not a dark navy blue. You want to wear a light blue.
Oh, powder blue?
Yep, or baby blue, whatever. Just a lighter blue color. Purples or violets, whites, and green.
Green usually repels most people.
Hey. So funny.
He loves to make himself laugh. Thank you very much, Heather. AJ Hinch joins us next. 97.1 The Ticket. 248-539-9797. Tiger baseball coming up at a little after 1 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Take on the Texas Rangers. Remember when Javi Baez was benched and he had like a kind of a resurgence?
Yeah.
I think we have overlooked his recent play.
Oh, he's reverted back to.
Yes, in his last 15 days, okay, 58 at bats, 15 strikeouts, and 1 walk. I mean,
Not great numbers.
No. I mean, if you want to even extrapolate it to 20 games, he's struck out 19 times with 1 walk.
How many hits?
Hold on 1 second. I got in the last 15 days, he has 9 hits in 58 at bats with that's a batting average of 155. Last week has been really bad because his OPS is 214.
Yeah, it's not good.
No. So basically, Javi Baez
needs another wake-up call?
Yeah, he does. I mean, and there are certain situations where he's hitting the ball hard, but once again, now I don't think it's so much chasing bad pitches as much. I haven't checked his chase rate, but he's got to pick it up again because he's been really, I mean, especially now you got Veerling out, Riley Green's out. We don't know how long. Baez, on
needs to step up.
Needs to step up. He's their second highest paid player, right?
Yeah. And it especially when, if you mentioned, we don't know how long Green's going to be down.
Mm-hmm.
Veerling, we know he was placed on the IL.
Mm-hmm.
We know Erod, obviously Erod doesn't bat, but it's all part of a production that will no longer be there. So you're going to need, we saw it yesterday. We saw guys that haven't produce.
Abanez finally got a home run.
Yeah, and Miggy went 3 for 3.
Yes.
But you're going to need guys like Javi Baez where you are paying him to be much better on the regular, but especially now when you need other guys to step up, it's time for him to make a move.
Yeah, it is. And there's nothing they can do about it because his trade value is minimal. He's certainly not going to opt out of his contract at the end of this year, which would be following, if this trend continues for this season, his 2 worst career years. Why would he opt out?
There's no motivation to.
No.
He's not going to sign the same contract anywhere else, I wouldn't think.
And to make it worse, and, I know we, give Avila crap all the time, and we should, but to make it worse, they're playing a team this week, the Texas Rangers, who have 2 of the shortstops that were available at the time. Now, Corey Seager was signed, I believe, before Baez, and he got a hell of a lot of money, but he's
Seager and Simeon.
Yeah, and Simeon is now playing second base.
Mm-hmm.
So they got both of them and they're developing. Yeah, or playing, or not developing. They're coming through for Texas. I mean, look at what this team is doing. They're on. The Rangers are on pace to have over 1,000 runs.
It's crazy how effective and efficient they are. They get runners on base, and chances are they're going to come across home plate.
Yeah.
They're very opportunistic. They take advantage of those opportunities. They manufacture them, but they also they just play the game of baseball, and in the process score a lot of runs.
Indeed, and they got guys, as we talked to AJ about, Josh Jung, who is the older brother of Tigers' #1 draft choice, and that's why I asked the question. Hopefully, some of those family genes can be passed on. So to speak.
And you hear this all the time. Like, wait till the next one. Yeah. Oh, he's even better.
I know.
Well, it's going to take a little time.
We'll find out.
Again, that's always the question.
Hopefully,
he started off okay. Nothing special down in the minors. But.
Oh no, I have no idea how he's doing them. I was talking about could he be as good as his brother?
OPS is decent for considering what his batting average is, so he's doing okay.
Yeah. As long as if he can equal his brother, that's all.
Hit a handful of bombs already, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Gator? How are you?
I'm all right. I don't know. This is one of these days you ask yourself, why can't we have nice things?
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just sad. Watching the game last night, I'm all set. I went for a nice walk beforehand, worked up a good lather, come back in.
Sure, it was warm. It probably didn't take long.
No, it did not. Come in, sit down, and I'm greeted with because I paid no attention after the show yesterday. Wasn't on Twitter or anything like that, so I didn't know. And they're like, Eduardo Rodriguez had his issue, Matt Fearling on the IL. I'm like, oh, come on, really?
How's your pulley tendon doing?
I think it's okay. Yeah. I don't. My lever tendon is not so good, but so I went out. I had to go to the grocery store real quick, so I put the game on pause on TV, and as I'm driving back, I had the game on the radio, and I hear Dan Dickerson say, and Riley Green is out of the game. I'm like, what? Come on!
Yeah.
No. So let's hope those scans this morning, when they read them, tell us that he's going to be okay. But that's just, why can't we have a nice
Hey, come on. You got Wentz is throwing today. All right, Carson Anderson, what do you guys got going today?
It's kind of like the Central Vision. Somebody has to win it.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to pitch.
Yeah.
Let's hope he can, find a strike zone and give him. You know what I want? I don't want 6. Asking for 6 innings is too much. Asking for 5 innings is too much because these guys, when they get into trouble, they get in trouble in a hurry and it's done, right? We've seen that with Matthew Boyd and with others, but Joey Wentz is another one of those. Bless you. Thank you. I just give me 4 good innings. Give me 4 good innings.
4 inning. Let him be a 4-inning opener.
Give me 4 good innings. Bring in Tyler Alexander. Let him go for a couple innings and bring in the rest of the guys. But let's put forth a pretty good effort today. Offensively, they did okay last night, but they can do better. And trying to get 1 win out of this would be fantastic.
I'll tell you. Here's a positive. You guys are here, not down there. I know you'd rather be here.
Yeah. You want to talk about working up a lather today?
Oh,
you'd be able to do that during the show.
I've been there.
Yes,
been there,
I know
that.
you have. All right, Carson Anderson coming up next. Have a wonderful day, everyone. 97.1 The Ticket.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Carson Anderson radio product. Good to be with you here on this Wednesday in Detroit. Tigers with an afternoon game. Taking on the Texas Rangers, hoping to turn this thing around because it hasn't been good so far.
No?
In fact, yesterday was brutal in terms of injuries and clearly the game not great. But here we sit. And you know what I feel like being a Tiger fan is? I feel like you're in an office and people are getting laid off around you. And being a Tiger fan is like you're still at work. You haven't been laid off yet, but you kind of keep waiting to get called into the boss's office to hear that you're being let go. But you're still here. You're haven't been let go yet.
Not yet. No, but they're going to ask you to work.
Company,
they're going to ask you to work for the weekend, though.
Yeah, the company is not healthy, but you're hanging on and you're just kind of waiting. You don't want the call into the corner office.
No, you want to avoid them at all times.
We need you to meet with HR.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it feels like it's happening around you and it's almost inevitable.
Oh, I got an email to meet with the Bobs.
Yeah.
Could be in trouble.
Never good.
No.
Never good. You still got your stapler? Like everything's
right. You're hoping to get that last piece of cake?
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough being a Tiger fan right now, and that's why I said during the crosstalk, why can't we have nice things?
Right.
You know? Teams from flirting with 500, flirting with the top with the division lead. They still are, by the way, because thank you, Twins, for losing again.
Yep.
They're 2 games back still of the Twins.
Yep.
I worried about this stretch because they're playing better opponents. I worry mostly Texas is so good offensively, and it feels like the Tigers have gotten so lucky with the pitching so far.
Yeah.
Like I think the bullpen might be legit, but some of the starters have just gotten, I think, lucky.
Yeah.
In a way, and now they find a really good offensive team, and they get exposed because their top 2 pitchers weren't pitching in this game or weren't pitching in this series. And now our top pitcher may not be pitching at all for a while. We'll wait and find out, but it seems like it's could be anywhere from 10 days to 7-8 weeks. Who knows? It's not good, and that news greets you before the game even starts yesterday. And the Riley Green situation, don't know what that is yet until they give us some updates. AJ Hinch said this morning that they'll get a chance to review the scans, and they'll know this morning, hopefully. Someone is going to have to get sent down because of the acquisition of Jake Marisnick, a defensive outfielder. There's a lot to in the last night's game. It felt like there's a lot to unpack because there were different faces in the lineup too, and just poor results out in the field. Some good things and some bad things. There's a lot to unpack from last night.
Yep, and we will throughout the program. Although there is a tweet in the last minute with an update.
Here we go. Oh, no. I haven't looked. What do you got?
Daniela Bruce. Broadcast, of course, on the broadcast here on 97.1. Riley Green has been placed on the injured list with a stress fracture. Timeline to be determined.
Come on. A stress fracture?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Biz Marquee right now. Come on, don't give me that. Really? This sucks.
You know what this feels like?
Yeah.
Same old Lions.
Well,
this feels like that. some sort of bad luck mojo that is typical of the Lions. And I mean, what's the most same old Lions thing is Riley. I mean, 2 things. These are Riley Green, just as it's starting to get good, stress fracture. Erod out with an injury that nobody has ever heard of. Nobody's ever heard of that pulley finger.
Pull my finger? What?
Yeah, he's got to pull my finger. And he's out with a pull my finger.
Well, that's not good. All right, so he's out. They haven't announced corresponding moves yet, all right? They're bringing up Marisnick and Riley Green.
They traded for Marisnick.
Yeah, sorry, they traded for Marisnick. So is it just that simple, Marisnick for Green?
I think so.
Is that as easy as it is? That's disappointing. It's disappointing on a number of fronts.
It's been so unexpected and borderline fun, fun adjacent, watching the Tigers stick around the top of the division.
It's not. I mean, look, nothing's over until it's over. I'd feel that way if they started. This goes into a tailspin and they lose 8 of the next 10 games, and yeah, fair enough. But this is still the series against Texas. They're still 2 games back of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
They can steal a game this afternoon.
You know what's effectively happened? Detroit just played Ottawa. That's what this feels like.
That's what it feels like.
That's what this feels like. Mathematically, after the Ottawa series and the Red Wing season, they were still right in it.
Well, I'm not
I get
what you're saying.
I'm not either.
It's not Ottawa yet. It's starting to feel like that. Yeah.
That's this series with Texas, because it's not just the 2 losses, which have been kind of definitive losses, and matching up against a much better team. I don't want to use the term exposed, but it's gone about as badly as could be expected. And then when you mention Vierling, Green, and Erod all with injuries, this is starting to feel like a series that has the potential to change the course of the season.
Yeah. You want to avoid the Ottawa feeling? Beat Minnesota 5 out of 7 times.
Right?
And that's how you avoid the Ottawa feeling.
Well, and be still close enough that'll matter. I mean, I don't expect them to completely fold here, but Joey Wentz is going today. Riley Green is out. I mean, I think they've announced Reese Olson's going to make his major league debut on Friday, pitching. So we're talking about a very this is a perilous time for a team that has very little margin for error.
Yeah, I tell you, guys can't get healthy soon enough, and it's just going to take a while. Kerry Carpenter.
I mean, you're always going to have injuries. There's always going to be somebody hurt.
And AJ talked about it yesterday before the game. When he was talking about Eduardo Rodriguez from the media, and he's like, this is just our time to go through it. But they've been going through it for a couple years here. Mize, Manning, Skubal, Turnbull, Eduardo Rodriguez, your whole rotation has had to go through it over the last 2 years.
God, that's weird. Like they've seriously. I mean, what would this rotation be if everyone were healthy? Erod, Mize,
Manning, Skubal, and Turnbull.
And
I mean, well, I suppose you could have gone out and still gotten Lorenzen, but I mean, Boyd's not part of this rotation. Wentz isn't part of this rotation.
FFS.
Faedo probably isn't.
248-539-9797. Okay.
FFS, huh?
Yep.
Come on, no way.
For F's sake.
What?
You got, we shouldn't give up.
I'm not giving up. But I said it yesterday. July 1st will let you know. You'll let you know all you need to know, because you'll play the good teams. You'll play the Twins 7 times. You'll know.
Well, we're playing a good team now, and it's not going well. Gabe.
No, it's not. But it's about giving up hope. I mean, I'm not giving the Twins are playing a good team too, and they're losing. So, what does it mean? The division's still there.
248-539-9797. Hey, you headed to the pool this summer and get the summer mocktail party delivered and ordered with the new strawberry margarita and island punch and the fan favorite watermelon mojito smoothie from Tropical Smoothie Cafe, and order from the app or online at tropicalsmoothiecafe.com. The strawberry margarita and island punch smoothies making a splash at TSC. Try them before the summer mocktail party is over. Make every day a getaway with the bold flavors and better for you pairings only at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Trop brings the goodness with fresh made-to-order smoothies and food. Customize it. The fresh add-ins like almond, spinach, kale, chia seeds, and ginger, or supplements like protein, fat burner, or Energizer. Do what I do. Use that app because you get rewards points. In fact, I'm due a free smoothie here pretty soon. You order ahead, you save a bunch of time. You walk in, your smoothie sitting on the countertop. You nab it, and off you go. TropicalSmoothieCafe.com. Find a cafe near you. Tropical Smoothie Cafe. You're on Tropic Time now.
Well,
that's not when he did it, right? That was Sunday,
that was the game
and
before.
He tripled right after, but he's going on that. Now we know we have a time. He's going to the injured list. Riley Green, the 10-day injured list.
All right, so it's kind of a wait-and-see thing. Stress fractures are...
It can be tricky.
I think they're kind of like maintenance things, aren't they? You just got to just stay off it for a little bit, and then they may linger. They're just there.
Yeah.
But obviously he was in discomfort. He made a play in center field, caught it, winced.
Mm-hmm.
When he threw it, they went through some stuff. He thought he could come back in the game. They decided, no, let's just sit you out. And now they know what it is. It's not the worst news. Actually, it's probably pretty good news. It's a stress fracture as opposed to a fracture. But if this thing lingers, I mean, could it turn into a problem?
Right, and you
suppose?
don't want there to be any injury hangover. Like
No.
you need the Tigers just to even hang on here. Need some breaks. They don't need this. Cody Stavenhagen's the ones that reported 10-day stress fracture, 10-day IL. MRI revealed the fracture last night. Tigers will have him seek a second opinion. Jake Marisnick is on the roster today. Reese Olson is here. Now, Reese Olson, and again, if you're just joining us, the last 16 hours have sucked for the Tigers. Riley Green to the injured list. Eduardo Rodriguez out with a pulley finger. That's a real thing. And now we welcome Matt Vierling injured as well. And now we welcome in Jake Marisnick and Reese Olson to try and keep us in this thing. The good news is you don't have to be great to keep up pace because the Tigers haven't been great. And the Twins have allowed the Tigers to hang around. And it's been fun. It's been a mirage. It's been scaling Mount Holly, not Mount Everest. But, the truth is they don't need this, and they don't need this now. At the very, at a very base level, Eduardo Rodriguez getting hurt doesn't help his trade value. At all. I mean, at all. So that stinks. But we're not even there yet. We're still 2 months away from that. So it's time to get healthy and return to form. Hopefully he will. But it's so weird. I mean, have you ever heard of that injury?
Of a pulley finger?
Yeah.
No. I've heard of pull my finger, but not pulley finger.
Right. So how do they stick around? Now, the Reese Olson thing. That's
a great question. How do you?
I don't know.
With the rotation, where now your ace of the staff is Michael Lorenzen. I mean, no offense to Lorenzen, and he's pitched really well for the Tigers in the last 4 or 5 starts. I'm thankful that he's out there, but he's pitching the best he's ever pitched in his career. And after him, what do you have? Alex Faedo.
Well, Faedo, we were hoping would pass a test last night.
Look,
he really did.
If he's going to be really good 3 out of 4 starts, I'll take it. That's fine. But I have a feeling that he's somewhere in between where he had been the previous 3 starts and where he was at last night. I don't think he's I think last night was a product of facing a really good hitting baseball team. And here's a guy who throws a lot of strikes. So that matches up well to the skill set of the opposite team when they can hit the ball well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a bad matchup, perhaps. But still, you've got Faedo, Joey Wentz, Reese Olson. I mean, these are your candidates to start because it sounds like Wentz may not be starting much longer, but we'll see. Matthew Boyd, he'll give you 3 or 4 solid innings. Unfortunately, then comes the next one, and it's not so solid. But he has shown flashes where he can go stretches of being outstanding. But they have nothing else. And Tyler Alexander out of the bullpen, is that who you promote or give an opportunity to? Do they go with, the opener starter 1 out of 5, and that stresses your bullpen out? There's nobody in the mind. I mean, they're bringing up Reese Olson. You want to know what Reese Olson's done?
Well, I know that Reese Olson was the piece they got back in the Daniel Norris trade.
Yes.
And I remember reading some stuff as he really took a big step forward in the Tigers organization and became a high strikeout guy. at Double-A, and I think I know he made it as high as the number 6 prospect in the Tigers organization, and I kind of forgot about him, to be honest with you. He was a player that was like, ooh, maybe they got something potentially down the road useful back. So you were saying
he's been awful this year. I mean, you go back to
certainly call him up.
Well, I mean, you're looking at the big year was 2022, and the ERA doesn't look good at 4.
Last year?
Yes. The ERA is nothing special at 4.14. The WHIP is okay. It's good at 1.23 last year. The 168 strikeouts and 119 and 2/3 innings, that stands out. That's a ton of strikeouts. Fast forward to this season. He's made 10 starts in Toledo with a 6.38 earned run average, a 1.75 WHIP, a 282 batting average against. He's got 47 strikeouts and 36 and 2/3 innings. So he's still striking guys out, but he's given up hits. He's given up runs. And he's also walked 22 batters in that time too. So that's not instilling a ton of confidence, but he does have something. He can strike guys out. And, you're not expecting it to click when you get your first start in the majors, if that's what's going to happen. But they just don't have the horses right now at Toledo. They've got some pitchers that they feel good about that are in the lower levels. Madden is pitching at Double-A, and he's pitched well, but not great, but he's pitched well. But he's not ready. I dare say Reese Wilson is not ready either, but this is what this is calling for. This is why, and this is just with the rotation, but Scott Harris had to get on the horn and start looking for, I need an outfielder, because they're, at this point, I don't want to say hell-bent, but they're definitely not calling up Malloy just yet. So they're looking around. What do? We lost Veerling, decent defensive outfielder. We need defensive outfielders. Bring up Jake Marisnik, who's, and now it makes all the sense in the world. Riley Green's out. Marisnik has played center field most of his career. He is a plus defender in center field. He's an older player, but he's not much of a hitter at all. He's a 228 career hitter, I think.
Okay, well, if you want some good news.
I do want some good news.
Okay, I'll give you some good news. This is Reese Olson's last 3 starts.
Okay.
He's gone 14 1/3, which isn't a ton of innings.
No, it's not even 5 innings.
But he has allowed 10 hits, and he has struck out 22.
That's good news.
Yeah, and he has allowed 2 earned runs. So 3 starts for Reese Olson. I mean, look,
I feel better now.
Yeah,
that is.
I mean, that's turning the corner maybe a little bit at the AAA level. I don't know that this portends well for Friday, but hey, we're trying to stick around, and we asked the question, how do they stay in this damn thing? And this is
and that is somewhat encouraging on that front. I'm glad you pointed that out, because just looking at the numbers looks awful, but the last 3, so 7 bad starts and 3 really good starts maybe is what it looks to be. Yep. But Scott Harris has some work to do. You can find guys that are, all defense and no bat. You can find those guys. He's got one in Jake Marisnik. But can you find a starting pitcher?
That's not easy to do.
Now, they'll get Tarek Skubal back soon enough, and that's going to help out a lot. And hopefully there'll be good news coming back on Eduardo Rodriguez. It's not set in stone that he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Please don't be out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Dude, he's got a pulley finger. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. God, we're like the bearer of bad news today.
Just heavy sigh. It's a heavy sigh Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a.
I swear, there's pink slips being handed out, and you're like in the corner. Don't come to us. Don't come to us. Don't tell us we have to go.
I gotta go to the bathroom. You just hiding in the stall all day. Go on my lunch break. I'll be back in a couple hours. I gotta see a client.
Good Lord. 248-539-9797. Feedback coming in on, the news. If you just flipped your radio on, Riley Green to the 10-day IL with a stress fracture in his fibula. You've got a pulley ligament injury to the finger of Erod.
They're calling it a rupture right now, right?
A ruptured pulley?
Isn't it? I think that's what I read this morning. It's called a ruptured pulley. Which doesn't sound good.
No.
When you use a word like that.
Well, it's weird. That's why I said it feels like a same old Lions thing, because it's something nobody's ever heard of.
Right.
Which is the kind of thing that happens to the Lions.
Got a sprained coccyx. Can you sprain a bone? He did.
Is it the anterior or the ulnar?
Yes.
248-539-9797.
The medial.
Let's go to Joe here on 97 on the ticket. Hi, Joe.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
All right, Joe.
We think the Tigers literally made up a ligament to hurt.
Yeah.
It's a new ligament that nobody knew of, but sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess my question is being SOT, same old Tigers with our luck as far as guys getting hurt.
Yeah.
Riley's going to be gone for, a month and a half, just my guess, just because of our typical luck. The second question I guess the second one is Rodriguez is going to be probably gone 4 to 5 weeks. What does that happen? What happens to his trade value or the chance of him re-upping next year with the Tigers, since the rest of the year will be a typical struggle like regular same old Tigers? So I guess, what are the chances of him coming back?
That's the interesting question, and I think it went through everybody's mind when they heard that Eduardo Rodriguez was placed on the IL yesterday is, oh, crap, how long is he out? This injury, it has happened before, and they say the injury typically goes as a 6-week route. Well, the trade deadline's the end of July. So it's May 31st, but we're getting real close here. It's basically 8 weeks would be the end of July. So if he comes back in a timetable and is able to pitch and maybe get a couple starts in before the trade deadline, of course it matters where the Tigers are at in the standings and everything, how they played, because it's got a brutal schedule here. But I don't think it helps chances all around. I think this is like worst case scenario, because you're probably not going to get much in terms of an offer for him, because people aren't sure if he's just coming off the injury. He would have to be really good if he's able to come back before the trade deadline and have some really good starts before that to still have that interest. But if he doesn't, then there's no interest. And then does he say, you know what? I just needed to get things right. Maybe by the end of the second half of the season, he's pitching great again, and then he opts out. I mean, that's the nightmare scenario, right?
Yep.
The dream scenario is that he's able to come back, pitches well, and says, you know what? I'm not opting out. I like this team. I want to be with this team.
Well,
can anchor a rotation.
I still think that we've got to be realistic about a 30-year-old pitcher suddenly becoming a dominant. I don't think that's what happened. I hope he can come back and he's healthy and they can trade him, because that's the most probable scenario that they can get out of this good half season or good quarter of a season that he was having. The one thing I want to cut off before it comes is the calls coming in that say his stock was never higher than it was 3 weeks ago. They should have traded him. Teams aren't making blockbuster trades a month, 2.5 months away from the trade deadline. They aren't.
No, there's definitely not, and particularly for a player that's pitching out of his mind.
Yep,
he's never pitched before.
They weren't getting. I can almost assure you, okay, that they weren't getting blockbuster trade offers when he was at the top of his game. That's incredibly unlikely that was happening. But I know some people are going to think it, but am I wrong here?
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right on.
This is worse than when you brought up the Ottawa comparison, Doug. How with the Wings and that Ottawa series kind of maybe let Steve Yzerman know we're not there yet. We're hanging around, but we're really not.
This Texas series could have the same effect.
But it's worse because players are getting injured.
Yep.
You can't trade Erod if he's hurt. Riley Green, one of your young stars that you hope to build around, gets hurt, and I love the optimism, Gator. I think he's going to be out for a while.
Oh no! Listen, I said, let me understand this. I don't think he's gone for a while. That was the dream scenario. Okay, that was the oh my God, the sun is shining down on this organization. It's not as bad. No, I don't feel good about this. I think this is terrible for the Tigers.
Yeah, I don't want people to think 10-day IL. It won't be that bad.
Oh, he's back in day 11.
No, I don't see it. I mean, it's different part of the bone.
2 for 4 with a triple and a double.
Cade Cunningham had a stress fracture in his shin. Now, different bone in the shin, but obviously we know what happened with Cade. They tried to wait it out, end up having surgery because it's just the best thing for him. Oh. Riley Green plays center field at Comerica Park. He's going to need to move around, and if he's got any discomfort.
Why'd you have to bring up that name?
But I'm just trying to look at a comp.
I hate you for doing it.
We might have to shut him.
Son of a bitch.
What the hell, man?
I don't want to shut him down, but if it's what's best for the organization.
Stress fracture, most people are walking around with one anyway. What's the big deal? It's a stress fracture. It just, you're going to have to maintain it, meaning he'll probably get a day off every 6 days. It's okay. It's no problem. Cade Cunningham missed the entire season and had surgery.
But it's like with the Wings, you hang around, but we kind of know they're not that good. And this might be the nail in the coffin where you're like, all right, Scott Harris might have his Yzerman moment and say, we're not going for anything.
Even if we do win this or contend in September for the Central Division, you can't beat. This team is not set up to beat those other teams. But King, you're always the one that says Florida did it.
I know. Well, I agreed. By the way, I agreed with what Yzerman did not or did do, whatever you want to put it. He didn't go for it, and I agreed with it.
I agreed as well.
So, but I think
it's just disappointing as a fan base to see that pin put to the balloon, But it feels like you don't even need the pin to the balloon right now. You've got the defective balloon. It's not even inflating.
The way this is going, it made me Google search 2025 MLB draft prospects to see if there's anybody. Is there a baseball version of Wembanyama that they can tank this season and get in on?
Well, they have the 3rd overall pick in this draft.
Yeah, remember there's a lottery now, though, so they're not going to. We have no chance of picking first.
So they'll fall to the what?
No, isn't it already set?
I'm talking about tanking for the next draft.
Oh, for next draft, yeah. Yes. Well, I'm saying for this they have a draft coming up in a few weeks.
Right, but
excited about that. 3rd.
I know. This is it's not been a good start to a Wednesday show. And now a team that had a slim margin for error has got to find a way to get it done without basically 3 critical components for a while here.
How many? 3?
3.
Yeah. Thank you, King.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try to make us feel a little bit better.
Okay? I got to tell you, as you say that, the look on your face is pure panic. You look panicked. People on Twitch, you just looked at me, and if you saw the look on his face, whatever you were about to say.
I need to find my Redwoods Bear look.
It didn't matter. The Redwoods Bear is awesome. It didn't match. The look on your face didn't match what apparently was about to come out of your mouth. But make us feel a little bit better.
Okay. Riley Green's out. We know this for a while. Who knows? Maybe it's 10 days. Maybe it's the rest of the year with surgery. We don't know. But he could be out for a while. Kerry Carpenter's coming back. Okay, that's nice to get an offensive guy.
That makes up for it.
Well, it doesn't, because Riley Green's the best player on the team, and it's not even close. But it helps because he is a plus bat in the lineup and was one of the best bats in the lineup last year. It's going to help a little bit to get that going. You're going to get Tarek Skubal back probably in a couple weeks. He's going to have to make a couple of starts, and hopefully he's ready to go. He's gotten rave reviews in his live batting practice sessions and how he's been throwing the baseball. Sorry, my Lions optimism crept in by my Tigers.
He really struggles against the pessimism.
Yeah, but he can read defenses. It's great. 98 miles an hour he's already hit on the gun. So you feel pretty good about where he's at arm strength wise. Now it's just, are you ready to pitch? Those are two pretty big components coming back. Skubal in particular. Now that you look at Eduardo Rodriguez is out, the rotation is just decimated. Matt Manning is probably a couple weeks behind where Skubal is, but they'll get him back soon enough, and it should be well before the trade deadline. Hopefully, it's before July. That'd be really nice to see that coming. Those are three pretty big pieces coming back to this team. Now, I suspect this is something else that can happen in the next few weeks, and it's something that the fans have been clamoring for, and I think it's another move that could really help this team out.
I suspect I know what you're going to say, and we will get to that today at 10:45. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket.
Fighters, start your engines. The XFC is coming to the Detroit Grand Prix on Friday, June 2nd at the Wayne State Fieldhouse. XFC Grand Prix is a one-of-a-kind mixed martial arts event that officially kicks off the return of the Detroit Grand Prix to the streets of downtown. Be witness to world-class MMA fighting on Friday night, then take in the racing on Saturday for an incredible weekend of Detroit sports action. Fight fans, you can get right next to the action with tickets starting under $20, or purchase a VIP table ringside for the ultimate experience. It all happens Friday, June 2nd at the Wayne State Fieldhouse. For tickets, visit xfcfight.com. Again, tickets are at xfcfight.com.
All right, Gator predicted another move in the next couple of weeks, that a Tiger team that is chances to hang around in the American League Central, the news of the last 16 hours, taking on water at this point. With Riley Green to the injured list, 10-day injured list with a stress fracture. 10 days seems awfully optimistic. There's a pulley finger rupture of the anterior pulley ligament of the finger on Eduardo Rodriguez. Nobody knows what that is. You've got Veerling to the injured list. So guys like Jake Marisnick and Reese Olson are going to be counted on making Tiger debuts in the next couple of days. Marisnick's been around and played in major leagues, but Reese Olson was the piece they got back for Daniel Norris, who's shown some promise at Double-A last year. Had been knocked around pretty good at Triple-A. Looked like he might be a find until he got knocked around at Triple-A. He's had 3 good starts, not deep starts, but 3 good starts in a row where he's gone basically 15 innings, 10 hits, and 22 strikeouts. Gator, as it stands right now, you're calling for a potential next move?
Yeah, I think in the next few weeks, you've got to bring up Malloy. I mean, Justin Henry Malloy has done the job at Toledo. Fans been clamoring for this, and there's reason to. He's hitting .281 with an .870 OPS on the season at Toledo. He's a career .284 hitter with an .858 OPS in the minors. Now, that's the minor leagues, but he has been consistent. That's what he does every year. It's time to bring him up. The big knock on him is he doesn't play. He's not very good defensively, and he's not. He's not good at third base. He's limited in outfield, but he makes the plays that he can make in the outfield, but he's not this great outfielder. But you've got a DH spot as well. You want to put him in an outfield position for a game or two and have him be primarily a DH, you can do that. I don't know. At this point, you don't need to look at this situation and say, okay, we're worried about the defense. I'm watching the game last night, and Jonathan Scope has an epically bad inning in the field at third base.
Yep.
You know, kind of stutters and throws the ball and throws it wide of the bag. I think he threw 2 wide of the bag yesterday, but the one inning, he threw one wide of the bag.
One of them, Torque made a great play on.
Yeah. Another one goes off his chest, and he just kind of ate him up, and I don't want to kill him for that, but it did eat him up. And then you had the foul ball towards the fans and didn't make the play there. And it was another one where he didn't make a play. And I hate to rip on Scope because I appreciate what Scope has been as a Tiger, which was, up until this year, a really dependable glove. Really dependable. Now, he was playing third base last night, not typically his second base, but still expect him to be able to make these plays and make the throws. And he's not alone. You know, Javi Baez had a horrible throw in the game last night too, but this has been a couple games now where Scope has done this, where he's not what he was. And if he's not what he was defensively, which is his calling card, then how much longer is he going to stay on the team?
Right.
I don't think you need to, show too much respect to it. It's just, it is what it is. Hey, man, your skills have eroded to the point where it's detrimental to put you out in the field. And if that's the case, then why not bring up a guy who can at least hit? You know, the way that Zach Short is playing and hitting, I should say in particular, Zach Short can play second, he can play third, he can play shortstop. He played outfield last night. You can play him anywhere. And he deserves to be in the lineup every day until he proves he can't. But right now, he's hitting it. Take advantage of it. Zach McKinstry, loves Zach McKinstry. Gets on base. He's got some versatility where you can play him in the infield. I'm no longer worried about second and third base. Let those guys play it. So if I got those guys playing those positions and it's keeping other guys out of the lineup that can't hit and can't field, why not bring somebody up who can hit?
Well, there's a lot of, you asked the question, and the why nots are 40-man roster spot, service time issues. You might not think he's ready, and you don't want to have him have a setback. I mean, these might be some of the answers. I think defense is definitely a part of it. But,
I think defense is a big reason why
they're pretty desperate. I mean, this is a desperate time for a Tiger team that's just been hanging on, and quite frankly, my expectation has dropped quite a bit with the news of since yesterday's show.
Yeah, I think you look at this team, and even when they have been winning in this last month, one of the big issues is batting average, runners in scoring position. It seems like it's not good at all, and they've left so many guys on base, yet they've been able to get through Every once in a while, they'll have the big hit, and the bullpen does the job and shuts things down. They get the win out of it. But they've left so many guys on base. I'm ready for a switch to sacrifice some defense to get more offense, because offensively, this team is offensive. They're not good, and they just lost their best player for at least 10 days, probably longer, but we'll see.
Feedback coming in. It's time for Torque to do what he's been drafted to be. That's from an unnamed texter.
Well, Torque had a nice double last night, had a walk. I think he's given him some good at-bats lately. But, yeah, he needs to put the ball over the fence for sure.
It feels like a guy like Marisnik could do maybe some of what Torque did. And now, Torque, you got to go play the role of Riley Green. You got to hit for average and some pop, some extra base pop. SOT, same old Tigers. It's kind of laughable at this point. That's from Jilly at work. Every time the Tigers play a really good team, they get exposed. Stop treating this team like a contender. No. They are a contender in the American League division. Central.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop treating them like a contender in the American League Central.
Yeah, they're not playing in the AL East.
Which is, by the way, the only potential goal to get out of this team is to push for 500, maybe make a run at this division so that they can justify some important free agent signings in the offseason. So, no, we're not going to stop treating them like a contender. I mean, look, this is a setback. Don't get us wrong. But it's not even really about this year. A team that toils near the top of the division or wins the division, a team that hangs out and wins the division, even if it's a bad division, has a chance to add some free agent parts. A team that finishes 25 games under isn't going to draw exceptionally good free agents or above average free agents.
If this was a veteran-laden team that was in the same position, right? A couple games below 500, competing for the spot, I would say I don't even think it matters if they make the playoffs. There's nothing to be gained by it. This is not a veteran-laden team. This is a hodgepodge kind of group of team that's been put together. It's relatively young, and if they're able to somehow cobble together this season and they're still in it in September, I think it can go a long way in terms of the future of what this team looks like it can be. They still have to add a bunch of pieces for sure, but it's different when you're young as opposed to veteran.
It is what it is, and it is not. It's not really great right now. Unfortunately, Erod hurt, and Faedo yesterday got knocked around, and Riley Green gets hurt during the game, and he's on the 10-day IL, and oh boy. All right.
And Faedo walked another guy yesterday.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Literally the second player he's walked all season.
Yeah. I'm not giving up. It was an interesting early test for Faedo, but he did not pass with flying colors. And there's no shame in Texas doing that to you, but I was hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah, it's with him because he pounds the strike zone. It's a bad matchup against a really good offensive team. Maybe he has to pitch a little bit differently when you go out against a really good offensive team, a team that loves to swing the bat. Maybe you don't pound the strike zone as much. I don't know. That's a Chris Fetter thing. That's an A.J. Hinch thing. That's an Alex Faedo thing. It's me just talking aloud. But I can blow it off. It's one start. Let's see what he does the next start. And hopefully it's still does what he does, which is hit the strike zone and doesn't let guys on base.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to pound the strike zone against a team that can hit, you better get a high number of swings and misses.
No home runs. He did not give up a home run last night.
Well,
there's that.
Small steps in me.
Well, I mean, that's 4 1/3 innings of baseball without giving up a home run for Alex Faedo.
Okay. So what do we want to do here? Do we want to do these NBA trade proposals that involve the Pistons, or do we want to do 100 questions, NFL questions, 99 days out, but Sports Illustrated put it out 11? Let's do the questions, because there's a Vegas fact about our Lions that's hard to believe.
It really is.
It's.
In fact, I'm doubting it right now.
You're doubting it?
Yeah.
Meaning
I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
Okay. This is a Lions Vegas fact that we will get to today at 11:01 here on Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. We finally have word on the leg injury of Riley Green, and it is not great. The Tigers center fielder suffering a stress fracture in his left fibula. He's been placed on the injured reserve. There's currently no timetable for his return. Green was batting over .360 in the month of May. Also with Eduardo Rodriguez sidelined with a finger tendon issue, the Tigers will send their number 11 prospect to the mound later this week to make his major league debut. Reese Olson will take the bump on Friday. He has struggled at AAA this year with an ERA of nearly 6.5. Manager A.J. Hinch did join the ticket this morning and talked a little more about that Erod injury. Yeah, Hinch says that Rodriguez will see a specialist in Philadelphia during their road trip next week. In the meantime, the players who are left healthy will finish up their series versus the Rangers with a day game at 1:10 p.m. We'll have that right here on 97.1. Joey Wentz versus Dane Dunning for the finale right here on the ticket as Detroit attempts to avoid being swept. Jake Marisnick has been activated after yesterday's trade. He is batting ninth. The top of the order without Green will be McKinstry, Baddoo, Baez, and Torkelson. At the Ticket Update desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
All right. Hour 2 of the program, Tiger Baseball coming up this afternoon. Oh, boy. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I am not particularly optimistic.
What?
And I don't know that anybody is. All right, so we're changing gears here a little bit, talk some NFL. So, obviously, a lot of attention is paid to sports gambling. Now, a few tweets this morning revealing some intriguing trends in Vegas. John Ewing is a data and PR guy for BetMGM. And he tweeted out this morning, actually in the last hour, 2023 NFL Week 1 betting at BetMGM. The most bet games for Week 1 are 49ers Steelers, Bengals Browns, and Lions Chiefs. The most bet teams, so these are the teams that have the most tickets. Okay? Not a stunner. It comes from these three games. Bengals minus 2.5. Steelers plus 3. Lions plus 6.5. Now,
down to 6.5.
This could be a whole bunch of Dougs betting $1 on the Lions. So that's because it's just a number of tickets. Then you get to most bet money. So if 100 Dougs put 100 $1 bets down,
it's only $100.
Right. But some whale comes in and puts 10 grand down on the Chiefs.
I thought you were going to say $10.
No.
Right.
I mean, that's a whale,
That's
right
a
there.
whale. Wow.
I'm feeling cocky today.
Sir, this way.
Yeah. We've arranged for security.
Yeah. Garcon, the finest waters.
Yes.
Can we get you a suite? So the most money is on the Ravens minus 9.5, the Steelers plus 3, and the most money is on the Lions plus 6.5.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. That part I can see.
Odds Checker, which also follows betting trends, tweeted out this morning as well, 95% of bets are on the Lions. And then it puts in parentheses, plus 240 money line to beat the Chiefs in Week 1.
Liar! 95% of the tickets are on the Lions on the Lions on the money line. I don't buy that. If you had said to me that the majority of the tickets there are the 90, I mean, even 95% is a huge number on the Lions with the points. That's more believable, right, Kang? I mean, that's kind of believable early on.
It's yet, the Chiefs. It's not even like.
But yet, I don't even buy that.
No, I understand what you're saying.
There's all these, all these numbers that support the Chiefs starting off the season,
right, of what they do to teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying with the Chiefs. But I tend to not believe any 90% in betting. But I've seen it a lot the last few weeks where 97% of the bets are Jaylen Brown over. I'm like, really? I don't care what the bet is.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. This can't be true.
Well, is this why the number's gone down? Because what was it? Was it 7.5 to start?
Yeah, and it's down to 6.5.
Oh.
But if 95% of the bets are in the Lions to win the game, Lions are plus 240.
All right, but are people, like you said, though, are people throwing down like $10?
Yeah, where are the whales?
Well, those are the whales.
Those are the whales.
Those are the whales.
Don't confuse the people. Those aren't whales. It would be a heavy bet
those
for
are
me.
whales.
It'd be a heavy bet
It's
for
a
me.
heavy bet for Doug. Heavy.
Yep.
Like, whoa, slow down.
Mm-hmm.
But if the majority of these bets
know
are like,
your limits, everybody. Know your limits. That's all
absolutely, 100%. There's an 800 number if you don't. I think you're probably right that it's people that are betting on the app or whatever. It's hey, I'll throw $10 on the Lions at this point. Why not? Plus 220.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. $10 gets me $22. That sounds great.
Seems a little fishy. Hard to believe. Because this is, again, repeating, 95% of the bets are on the Lions to beat the Chiefs. Now, I really want to, in fact, let's tweet him back. And ask the question.
I think it's a fair question to tweet. So you're saying, are you really saying this?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And just get clarification. I'm gonna wait. This is outright to win the game, not the Lions plus the points.
Yeah, because it seems a little outrageous at this point to have that high of a percentage of tickets of people betting the money line.
Yep.
I could see betting the Lions with the points being a higher percentage, but even that, not 95. Like if you had told me it was 70% of the people had bet the Lions taking the points, I'd say, well, that's a high number, but okay, I understand it. A lot of optimism in the Lions this season.
Yep.
But 95 is like, that's pushing it. That's like you've been given the answers to a test ahead of time, and all throughout the semester, you've been scoring in the 60 percentile range.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, because you got the answers, you decide you're not gonna screw with it at all. You're just gonna go the whole thing, and you get 100% on the test, and the professor's not supposed to say, "Hey, there's something fishy here."
Mm-hmm.
Miss a few.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
No, I never cheated like that.
Okay.
No,
not like that.
I said never cheated like that. I never had the answers ahead of time. No.
Doug, what's the money line or Gator? What's the money line on the Chiefs? Because if it's not, the value isn't there for the Chiefs. Maybe that's why the 95%.
Yeah,
you're getting more than 2-1 on the Lions.
Okay, but even then it would only, for me to believe that it's 95% would say, okay, of all the money line bets, 95% of them are on the Lions. That I get because you're right. It's probably, Chiefs minus 200 or something like that. Or more than
worse.
That. Yeah,
like
actually, because it's plus 6.5, so or minus 6.5. Maybe it's minus 300, 350. I don't know what the odds would be, but not a good value bet in terms of that.
I'm looking.
Or for my that's with the spread. You're right. Money line is worse. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is this this is not just Michigan bettors, right? This is the country.
Yeah.
This is everyone's buying in the Kool-Aid, not just the NFL, because the NFL they drank up the Kool-Aid when they decided to put the Lions on week 1 to kick off the NFL season.
Kansas City is minus 265 to answer the question.
On the money line.
Yeah.
So it's not like outrageous. I mean,
crazy.
Everyone's buying the Lions.
Everybody is buying the Lions, and it's reflected in Vegas, apparently. We tweeted back to Odds Checker to make sure that we are understanding correctly that the Lions are getting 95% of the bets to win the game against the Chiefs, which is 99 days away. 99 days away. I mean, I feel pretty good about the Lions. Not that good. Do you feel that good?
I mean, I feel I'm not taking it to the window.
No.
More than 2-1?
On a money line?
Yeah.
No.
And we're not asking straight up. People are playing the money line for a reason.
No, I get you. Would I throw my $100? I'll tell you what. If I was in Vegas, would I put $100 down on it? Because I'm having a great time in Vegas, and I'm going to watch the game.
You got a few in you?
Yeah. Then I probably would. It depends how I've done that week. Am I up a little bit?
Maybe you're down and you need this to come back.
I ain't betting that if I need to come back.
Because that's how you get out of gambling debts, guys.
That's right. Yeah.
Chase the losses.
Yeah.
Always. This is sarcasm, by the way, just in case.
Call the number.
Yes.
Yeah, if I'm on tilt, I'm on tilt. Yeah, I guess.
Kang, aren't you going to Vegas soon?
Yeah, in 3 weeks.
Seriously, in 3 weeks? Is this when you make your annual bet?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's not going to be lines for or against.
Okay? You should have done Philly last year.
Well, thanks. I'll jump in that hot tub time machine right now.
Yeah. Great advice, Gator.
Well, I'm only saying it because before the season began, we did our crazy predictions, and Kang's was Philadelphia.
All right, speaking of which, Sports Illustrated 100 Days Out did 100 bold predictions, and we will break down each and every one next. No, we're not going to do each and every one. We're going to spin it. We're going to spin the wheel and then read whatever prediction it lands on, okay? So we will get to that, and there's plenty, of course, with local interest. We'll get to that today. At 11:18, it's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket.
Can I try to put a smile on your face?
Good luck.
Kang, I'm going to try for you as well. 19 years ago today, Tayshaun Prince blocked Reggie Miller's shot. Cool. 19 years ago today.
Cool.
Are you sure?
That's what the tweet said from the Pistons.
I felt like they did this like last week, too. Or maybe it was like
I know. I felt like it was too, but
they just keep tweeting it out.
I told Doug. I think I told Doug this last week. You know what season we're in, right? And he said, "What?" And I said, "It's the season of this many years ago in NBA Finals history season.
Right.
It's or Eastern Conference Finals or Western Conference Finals."
I mean, right now, seriously, we could be flooded with Piston and Red Wing this many years ago text, and got it.
The good old days.
It's been a minute, and those things, those were great moments. Hey, they were great moments. It sure does seem like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. All right, you ready to spin the wheel and go over some of these NFL questions or NFL bold predictions? These are NFL bold predictions as put out by Sports Illustrated. You ready for this?
I am ready.
Okay, we got a wheel, and we spin it. Let's see what question pops up here.
Oh.
Question 4 out of 100. The Packers.
A lot of questions.
It's not question. It's prediction. Prediction 4. The Packers will win 10 games. Sports Illustrated writes, this isn't an Aaron Rodgers take. This is a Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, and Brian Gutekunst take. I think it's very possible that in the weak-kneed NFC North, we'll have a pair of teams with double-digit wins. In this case, the Packers and the Lions. One reason the Packers' schedule is not a gauntlet by any stretch of the imagination. Green Bay is 24th in opponent strength of schedule and plays only one team coming off a bye. The Packers have 3 short weeks, which is a lot, but is less punishing when your quarterback's under the age of 25. Okay. God bless this prediction, and the Lord knows that we do this. Gator, you and I do this.
Yeah.
But it is fatally flawed when you start talking about strength of schedule 99 days from the start of the season.
Well, it's fatally flawed in my eyes when you start talking about a Jordan Love-led team. I'm sorry, what's his track record in showing that he can lead a team to victory?
Almost none.
Okay. Not saying he can't, but I'm saying that track record isn't there yet, and I'd be surprised if this was the year that he's able to do it. I think he's woefully inexperienced, and he's going to be playing with a very young team. They're going to have to grow together, and I think perhaps they could be a force in a couple of years. But it's up to him. If he's good enough, but he was nothing special in college, and to this point, the limited reps we've seen him in the NFL, not a whole lot of specialty there. Packers have some good running backs. They've got a young core of receivers. They're in their first and second years, rookies in second years, and they've got a young defense as well. I think there are a lot of pieces to like in Green Bay. I can't see them winning double digits this year.
So the over-under for wins for them is 7.5 going into this year. And again, the bold prediction is that they will win 10 from SI. Honestly, this is a little bit of, I'm going to throw up in my mouth a little bit scenario, because that would imply that they got it right with Jordan Love. At least it would get off to a promising start. I don't want to endure that possibility that they might have gone from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to a quality Jordan Love. I really don't expect it. I really don't expect it. But wouldn't that just be nauseating if Jordan Love shows a ton of promise?
Yeah, it would be really nauseating. Because as I mentioned, this is a young group, right? Last year they had the rookies, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, come out there and do a really nice job at receiver. They came on towards the end of the year. They add Jaden Reed from Michigan State in the draft this year. They've got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon at running back. Their offensive line is perhaps a little bit better this year. You've got all these young players they had on defense last year. Rashawn Gary will be healthy this year at some point. So it's a pretty decent looking defense. They've got a lot of team speed on defense.
Kang,
so I could see them being better, just not yet.
Kang, what do you make of this prediction?
It's bold. It's bold, and this is the easy, breakdown of it. Yeah, is Jordan Love good? Yeah. If he's any decent that in his first year as a starter, then they have a possibility of winning 10 games. Did you guys think Aaron Rodgers was that good last year?
No.
Nope.
They won 9 games, right?
No.
Jordan Love, I'm like you, Doug. If he's good, I'm sick to my stomach. They cannot possibly do this for the third
time. They can't. They
find a
can't.
lifetime quarterback after he's been sitting, or they grab him. Brett Favre didn't play right away, of course. He was drafted by the Falcons, and this would be sickening. But if Jordan Love is decent, and they gave him the 1-year extension, right, the big money extension, then yeah, this would suck, and the Packers would have a chance at 10 wins. They have the weapons you just mentioned, Gator, and the defense it's always been pretty solid the last few years.
Let's hope that it's more David Whitehurst than it is Brett Favre.
Good call. All right, spin the wheel again. 100 bold predictions. Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated. That was number 4.
You got a little aggressive with this spin here.
Yeah.
This one, wow, still going. Oh, not there. Oh.
Bold prediction 43. The Browns will acquire DeAndre Hopkins. I think Brown management knows deep down that after they completely embarrass themselves in acquiring Deshaun Watson, the only aspect of the move that can make them look worse would be if Watson underperforms. Through 6 games as a Brown, Watson has underperformed. Hopkins has already succeeded at extraditing himself from one of the worst franchises in sports. Now he gets to pick his next NFL home in Cleveland. He can reunite with a quarterback from his 3 first-team All-Pro seasons. All right, so Watson said, and that's prediction number 43. Watson said that he and D-Hop talk. Been talking since the Houston days.
Uh-huh.
He's always been a brother of mine since I was coming out of high school, and our relationship has always been great. I know there's a lot of things swirling around the media about him possibly coming to Cleveland and me. And for me, my answer to that is, of course, we would love to have him. He knows that. We got a lot of connections. That's kind of out of my range of things to coordinate. So all I can do is make a call and see what happens.
Yeah. How much cap space do the Browns have?
We'll look it up.
I don't think it's much. And you're going to need a lot of cap space to land him. Here's the reason why I don't think it's going to happen. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Those are their top 3 receivers, let alone they've got some other receivers that are pretty good on the roster. I don't think they need him. If you're going to end up spending $20 million a year on a player, if you're Cleveland, you can't do it on a wide receiver when you already have that trio. It just doesn't make any sense.
They've got $6.7 million in cap space. If the reports are that D-Hop saw was it the Odell Beckham contract and wanted $15 million? That's a lot of cap space to clear. It can be done.
Well,
but
here's the thing that's interesting with Cleveland. What Cleveland can always do is go back to Deshaun Watson and say, look, we need you to rework the contract. And desperately, Cleveland wants to rework that contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got to rework this contract. We gave you way too much money, all guaranteed.
Yeah.
If you want to help make this team, you need to make some concessions here, and we'll kick it in the back end, whatever. But there's no way we can go through this right now. We can't get the pieces with your contract.
Kang, what do you make of this bold prediction?
I don't think it's going to happen. Too bold, almost dumb. Yeah, right? So I'm with you, Gator. He goes, I think it's going to be like the Bills or the Chiefs or something like the team that is going to win for sure, or have a very good chance of winning this upcoming season.
All right, spin the wheel again. 100 bold predictions for Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated.
Would have made more sense if he said the Lions, but he didn't. Oh, that was a short spin.
Here's an interesting one. Number 23.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford will be dealt to another team coached by a Sean McVay disciple. Connor Orr writes, I think Stafford and McVay will someday end up somewhere on a sideline coaching together. Their mutual respect has been evident, so much so that I can't imagine McVay wanting to keep Stafford on the roster if the team isn't going to be very competitive for the near future. Just about every team has McVay guys on the staff, and thus not so difficult process of ferrying Stafford across the country to a title contender. Perhaps the Vikings will sustain an injury at the quarterback position or are starting to get serious about life after Kirk Cousins. Just an example. Well, this one's bold. What do you make of that?
Well, I guess trying to figure out who's on his coaching tree to see what teams he can
like
possibly.
he said they're all over the league, but I gotta look at Stafford's contract and see how tradable it is. And predicting injuries is a difficult thing to do.
I've got some sort of a list here. Could he go to Seattle? No, they're not going to trade him within division. Where Shane Waldron is the offensive coordinator there. He's not going to go to Cincinnati. Not going to go to Buffalo. Probably. Well, could he go to Dallas? John Fossil's a special teams coach there and work with McVay.
Yep.
Is it possible he goes to Dallas? I'll say this. As far as the prediction's concerned, could I see Matthew Stafford being traded? Yep. Yeah, I can. I think there's a burnout factor with Sean McVay. I think they need to find their next guy because they went all in on Stafford, and now they got their Super Bowl, and it worked out for them. So now to really make it work out for them, trade him away. Maybe you can get a first-round pick. I don't know what else you're going to get, but why not move him?
You want to know something fascinating about the salary cap?
Do I?
Because it changes after June 1st, after tomorrow. If they were to release Matthew Stafford today, the dead cap number on his contract is $111.5 million.
Oh, boy.
If they trade him Friday, on June 2nd, the dead cap number is $18.5 million.
They should trade him. Honestly?
Yeah.
No, I mean, in all honesty, they already won your Super Bowl with him. They should trade him, and they should trade Aaron Donald, and they should start over. And that's probably not going to be long. Maybe Sean McVay decides to say, all right, now I'm done too. But the Rams need to start over. They need to start over. They need to find a quarterback, trade Stafford, be bad this year, tank for the year, get one of those top picks next season, and move on.
Yeah, his contract is crazy. If they were to find a way to be able to move him, I would say Tampa Bay because that division sucks. That
makes all the sense in the world.
Baker Mayfield sucks. Kyle Trask, probably not the answer there.
Nope.
And if they have this is one of those, like, hey, we're in a terrible division. We could actually host a playoff game. They did it before, right? Maybe Tampa Bay for Stafford.
But football team.
Could be.
Yeah, tough division.
Yeah, but I'm just saying quarterback-wise, I mean, they have Sam Howell.
These are 100 bold NFL predictions from Connor Orr. We'll do some more coming up at 11:32. Also, I think the best Twitter poll I've seen in a long time. We'll get to that coming up at 11:32 as well here on 97.1 The Ticket. All right, so this just put out by the Detroit Free Press on Twitter. I think it's one of my favorite Twitter polls I've seen in a while.
Let's make sure it's accurate.
We'll get to that in a sec.
Twitter. I hate Twitter. I freaking hate Twitter.
We'll get to the reason why in a moment. The Free Press just tweeted out a Twitter poll. Are Detroit sports cursed? You can vote yes or yes.
Well played.
Yeah, right now, yes has 73.3% of the vote, and yes has 26.7% of the vote. Go vote if you follow at Freep.
What's the margin of error in this poll? Plus or minus 2.5%?
Yeah. All right, Gator. Just got Matt Niskanen again.
There was the way that this works now. This hasn't always been the case, though, right? Is this a Musk situation?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's terrible.
I hate you, Elon.
I swear to God. You know, when I mentioned the thing about Tayshaun Prince 19 years ago today, right? Mm-hmm. Because the Pistons it was a tweet by the Pistons on my feed. And I keep updating the feed. Hey, you have 99 new tweets. Okay, great. Let's go there. Hey, you have 47 new tweets. Okay. And it was on the feed. And that came up. And I said it. And you're like, you sure this didn't happen? And I'm like, it kind of resonated back in my mind going, I thought I read this like a week ago, but I'll go with it. Sure, why not? Hey, it was on the Pistons feed.
And he said, Doug, can I make you feel better? And then he gave me wrong information. Does that make me feel better?
I hate Twitter. I freaking hate Twitter.
Tell the people
why on earth would you not have sequential stories? Why am I getting this random old tweet mixed in with my current feed? Why?
Don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
Does it make any sense?
Nope.
Other than make me look stupid, which you don't have to do that hard. I hate you, Twitter!
Tayshaun's block was last week.
Hey, no surprise, it was fake news.
Gator just read an old tweet a week later. Hey.
Twitter, been providing fake news since 2015. Unbelievable. Thanks, Elon. Appreciate it. Nice algorithm.
Algorithm's flawed.
I hate you, math.
Algo is my least favorite of all the rhythms.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. All right. You ready to spin the wheel again?
Yes.
100 NFL bold predictions.
Well, that's an aggressive spin.
Sports Illustrated.
You're going to wait forever on this one.
And it lands.
You want the Showcase Showdown, don't you?
Ooh, prediction?
$1.
33. Jared Goff will set the table for a contract extension that tops Daniel Jones's next year. Conor writes he's going to throw for at least 28 touchdowns and 4,400 yards. Whether or not the Lions want to keep him long term, he's going to make a lot of money in 2024. Goff is 28 and just rounding into the best years of his career. It would be surprising to see the Lions move to extend him mid-season, especially if he's playing well. Detroit is never going to lose enough games to get itself into the squalor for the Williams-May lottery. This is the right move.
They don't need to. They have Hendon Hooker. But I would agree that Jared Goff is going to set himself up for a better contract than Daniel Jones, simply because he's a better quarterback than Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
If the Giants want to go ahead and extend Daniel Jones, go ahead, my friends. I don't think he's anything special. Jared Goff is shown that he can be a very, very good quarterback in this league. He's already been to a Super Bowl. He's a part of this team that has totally done a 180 in terms of the culture, and he's helped to resurrect this franchise. And he's a big reason why offensively we feel very good about this team.
So Jones got 4 and 160, $40 million per year.
Yeah, he'll exceed that. I can see him exceeding that.
I think that's probable. I don't think this is that bold. I think it's an accurate prediction.
Yeah.
I expect Goff to have a good year. It's funny because I continue to be amazed, and I'm still not sure we even talk about enough what they did offensively last year with their lack of elite playmakers was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
This is one of the top 5 offenses in the NFL. And the only thing elite about it was potentially the offensive line.
So October 14th is Goff's birthday. He'll be 29 on October 14th.
Mm-hmm.
Do you suspect that the Lions will have an offer by that point for Jared Goff? At that point, they will have played 5 games, and his birthday is the day before the 6th game of the season that year against Tampa Bay, at Tampa Bay. Is it too early to put together an extension for him?
I mean,
or is it one of these things like if they go out and beat Kansas City in Kansas City and Goff has a game, throws for 350 and 4 touchdowns?
Yes. And, if he goes for 28 touchdowns and 4,400 yards, that means he's off to a good start. But my gut tells me, yes, it's still too early.
I do nothing until the end of the year.
I agree with Kang. But I think he's going to have a season where he's going to absolutely have this station and everyone in Detroit talking about, do they need to extend Goff or not? And I think he's going to have one of those years. It might almost be dumb that we're even engaged in the discussion, because it'll be one of these 30-plus touchdown seasons, well over 4,000 yards. The Lions are, 12-5 and winning the division and getting ready to host a playoff game. And you're like, how do you not extend a guy if that's what's going on? And the team's averaging 33 points a game.
So if the prediction's correct and he exceeds Daniel Jones 4 years and 160, are we talking 5 years, 200, or are we talking 4 years, 180?
Yes.
Yeah, probably one or the other. Something in that ballpark.
Yeah. Well, he'll be 29 on October, so he's entering the prime years of his career.
What you got to remember is that the concern isn't the total money. The concern is percentage of the cap that your contract takes up.
Yes, and that cap is going to keep going up year after year. So what looks awful today will not look awful tomorrow.
Right. So right now, Jared Goff takes up 13.6% of the Detroit Lions cap. The New York Giants, Daniel Jones, let me make sure I've got this right. His current contract, hold on, I don't think I've got this right. It says it takes up 9.7%, 9.47. I think that's before it's kicked in.
I was going to say, he signed an extension, correct?
Yes, yeah. So, if you can keep it in the ballpark of what it was, that means you can do business.
Do we know what, just out of curiosity, what Patrick Mahomes' percentage is of Kansas City?
One moment, please.
Because, of course, that's the standard. He's the best in the game.
18.01%.
Okay.
So you can't get anywhere close to that.
15% you can do.
Yeah, I want to see if I can find.
Look, the King's right, though. Wait for the season. There's no rush to get it done. If you get it done because you're going to save some money by getting a deal done,
tax.
I'm with you. I'll pay the tax too. Yeah,
It's you got to forget. This is a prove-it year for Goff. Although we think he's going to do well, with the better weapons, Ben Johnson another year, it still has to happen, right? And so when it does happen, if it does happen, you extend the guy, no problem, and I'll pay that extra tax or whatever we want to call it by waiting. But if he doesn't and he regresses, you didn't have to do this. You got the contract on your side.
Yeah, and to me, it's not about the first 6 games. It's about the last 6 games. How is he going to look with Jameson Williams in tow, and hopefully, knock on wood, that they haven't gone all Tigers and gotten hurt here, and that they've got a really good team in place. And if he's getting the job done like he did all of last year and like he did the last 7 games the prior year, how do you not? But it's a discussion to be had at the middle of the season.
All right, let's spin it one more time. Connor Orr's 100 NFL predictions, 99 days out from the season. And question 6.
Oh.
There will be 9 head coaching vacancies at the end of the season.
Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot.
Here's what Connor Orr writes. The candidates will all be obsessing over by November will include Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, who I believe will be the most sought-after candidate of this cycle.
Oh, boy.
Also in the mix are Panthers defensive coordinator Iro Aviro. Don't know him. Dolphins offensive coordinator Frank Smith. We need more Frank Smiths, less Iro Aviros. Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. Panthers quarterback coach Josh McCown. and offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan, and Giants OC Mike Kafka, and DC Don Martindale.
Wink.
So, hey, if Ben Johnson is sought after, again, that means good things. And unfortunately, you can't hang on to him ever. I love the Ben Johnson, Jared Goff marriage. It's been a very, very good working relationship.
Yeah, and this is the thing that sucks about when you have somebody who's good is that they're coveted by everybody else. And I think it's a fait accompli that he will be a head coach somewhere else. It's too bad. Interesting, a name not on that list was Eric Bieniemy, who is, I think this is a real prove-it year for Eric Bieniemy. He's over with the Washington football team as the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator. So this is, hey, you're off the island and working with the greatest offensive mind in the NFL today.
If he has a good year,
if they have a good year, then this guy's got to be
exceedingly hot commodity.
Yeah, because it's not a good team. What can he do?
Yep. Kang, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, that's a high number. I like the bold prediction. I'll take the under slightly because I'll just take like 7 or 8 coaches, instead of the 9 but I understand because if it's a win now league and everyone's looking to get the next guy as fast as possible.
All right, straight ahead. It's a big story in sports, and Kang is strangely opposed. And I can't wait to hear your reasoning why you're against this. We will get to that today at 11:50. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket.
Fighters, start your engine. Something really cool and affordable is coming to Detroit. It's the XFC. It's coming to the Detroit Grand Prix Friday, June 2nd at the Wayne State Fieldhouse. XFC Grand Prix is a one-of-a-kind mixed martial arts event that officially kicks off the return of the Detroit Grand Prix to the streets of downtown. Be witness to world-class MMA league fighting on Friday night and take in the racing on Saturday for an incredible weekend of Detroit sports action. Fight fans, you can get right next to the action with tickets starting under $20 or purchase a VIP table ringside for the ultimate experience. It all happens Friday, June 2nd at the Wayne State Fieldhouse. For tickets, visit xfcfight.com. Again, tickets at xfcfight.com.
Detroit Grand Prix this weekend. Coming off that big race weekend last weekend. I'll be flying through the streets of downtown. I'm glad it's going back to downtown. I hope it goes off without a hitch. And that people get a chance to enjoy what has been a good summer pastime event in the city of Detroit. Okay. Kang had this take today, and I was somewhat surprised. It's about the A's moving to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part of this story that, Kang, you really don't like. And it is?
Obviously, I'm not a Vegas resident here, so I don't know why this affects me so much, but I do go to Las Vegas at least once a year.
Mm-hmm.
See family, have fun, relax, vacation, right?
Yep.
The part of the story I don't like about the Oakland A's possibly moving to Las Vegas is they would locate them right on the Strip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not about that. Like I said, I'm not a Vegas resident, so I don't know why I'm so invested into this, but
right.
I don't think that should be the play, and I don't think they need it. I know it's the entertainment capital of the world, and right now they're trying to get in on the sports and entertainment capital of the world.
And they are.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't know if that means putting the Vegas baseball team in Henderson where maybe no one sees them still or what, but maybe they can move it across the street where the football stadium is, because they're talking about on the Strip.
No, I know. I love it. I've seen the renderings. I've been reading about this for
are
weeks.
there renderings?
Oh, there's renderings.
I love renderings. I love artist renderings.
I love how it's positioned. I love that right now what they're trying to propose is a 30,000 seat stadium, so it's not like overly built. It's the from home plate looking to the outfield is the view of the Strip behind it. It's at the old Tropicana site, which is just on the other side of the street from MGM Grand. And on the other side of the street from, I guess it would be, the Excalibur. It's a great location to look at the Strip. It's a short walk to the basketball arena. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Listen, optically, I can't complain. All right, of course it's going to look great. The renderings, Doug. Yeah, people will fly kites in 110-degree weather.
Kite. There's attractive, non-playable characters.
There's carnivorous tigers.
It looks great. Kids with balloons.
Anything on the Strip is going to look great. So that's not my concern.
Weed.
My concern is, well, there's going to be that. But they don't need the foot traffic, the people. People, guess what? They already go to Las Vegas, and they stay on the Strip, and they walk around.
But it's on the other side. It's the other side of him. People go to the MGM and they stop. Like some people will continue walking and go over. What's the other? There's actually a great hotel on the north side there. It's been there for.
I'd have to look at the map.
Years,
I forget. But yeah, you don't
The
need
Win?
it.
Is it the Win?
I'm not thinking of I don't know where the Win is.
Anyway.
Not Bellagio, but it's another one that's out there. But there's so many new hotels anyway in the last 20 years.
Well, they're going to renovate a bunch of more because I
Yeah.
mean the old ones like Circus and Excalibur and those can't last. They're going to have to do something with those too. What? But that's not the point. Like I said, it's just maybe
What are you
it's because
upset about?
It's so
because
random that you hate the idea of a baseball stadium
you know
on
what?
the Strip.
I'm starting to feel and treat it like I'm a local because when I go, I'll stay a night or two on the Strip, but most of the time I'm off the Strip. So getting in and out of the Strip can be a pain in the butt. If they add more, like. Hey, we don't need the Pirates of Caribbean, right, Gator? Here, I want to kick it. I want to kick it old school.
You want to kick it old school,
yeah, right? So
then you stay downtown at the D.
Yeah, I enjoy that too. I'll check out
It's
Circa and all that.
Circa's beautiful. Do that, and then you take a short cab ride over, or they'll have shuttle buses. I'm sure that'll take you there. It won't be an issue.
Yes, it will. The freeway, they're doing a bunch of construction. It's a pain.
So wait, the football stadium is.
I love how he's hating
the football stadium is the other side of the freeway and the freeway that runs west of the Strip, correct?
So I don't.
Yeah, but the basketball hockey stadium is
T-Mobile
right there.
It's on the Strip.
It's not on the strip, but it's just north of it. You know how the Strip goes in that weird. It's not just north south. It's like
it goes north, and then it
east,
cuts
right?
off. Yeah.
So this is kind of at the beginning of it on the bottom end, but on the north side. It's just like a block north of the hotels.
So gang protests its location in a city you don't even live in.
Should I join one of the live streams, like the local Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, 100%.
When city council is debating this,
right? They're talking about real issues like Hoover Dam and water and all this. They have real problems with that.
Problems in Kang.
Exactly. You got a problem with people, weed everywhere.
And Q is Kang Win.
And now we have Kang Win has something to say. Yeah, guys, this baseball stadium's a bad deal. I'm sorry, what's that? And why is it a bad deal? I just don't like it. Fair enough.
I don't like the location.
How is it taking away from your experience in Vegas?
Just crowding. Just too much more crowd. It's already crowded. I don't need this.
There's no crowd there.
Well, there's no crowd at Oakland A's game, that's for sure. But I mean, Las Vegas, there's going to be people.
They'll sell out in Vegas. There'll be people in seats. I don't know if they will.
I'm assuming it's going to be the ability to close the roof because it gets warm there. I don't know if you know this. In the summertime, it's warm.
Oh, it can get quite
It can get toasty out there.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I would hope it's a
good day for a mountain
retractable roof.
Well, there's two things I would say, too. Even though I'm not a resident, I don't want to pay for this. This should not be paid by the taxpayers at all.
I agree with that 100%.
Every owner, moving forward, and this is not going to happen, but of course, but they should be paying for their own stadiums, number one.
Yes,
and number two, they should all be retractable. And this will be, I'm sure, retractable. It's not a complete dome, but.
And they're getting the city to pay for, I don't know, it's like 15% of it or something
ridiculous.
like that.
They shouldn't pay anything for it. But that's besides the point. But I can bring that up in the next meeting.
Yeah, so I look forward to hearing how that goes for you. 248-539-9797. Let's go to Rob here on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Rob.
Hey, guys. Great show always.
Thank you.
But I got to say, being from Las Vegas, it is not the place to put the baseball, the basketball. It is not the place to put it. It's bad enough that they took up the Monte Carlo parking garage for AT&T Arena. But, dude, it's just outrageous, the price to park. It's outrageous for everything you do.
Yeah, but it's were you going to the Trop on a regular basis? I mean, that's where it's at, the Tropicana site, right?
Yeah, but it right now the Strip is just over-consumed with too many big venues. It's hard to get in and out of a night's game. Football stadium's not bad because it's at the end of the Strip. It's off the Strip on the other side of the freeway. It's just not the place.
I got the solution.
You wouldn't understand. You don't live there like we do.
I got the solution. Q line.
And you know what? Why don't the owners pay for it? Why do I got to pay for it? They don't pay my water bill, electric bill.
Nobody's mad at you for that take.
Here's why. Because the city recognizes it's going to bring in a ton of revenue and it's going to outweigh, the benefits are going to outweigh that. I think it's great. I love it. It's only a 30,000 seat stadium. I think that's amazing. The view is fantastic. It's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be an attraction. People are going to want to go to Vegas. Like, this gives them something. Look, the summertime, you know how brutal it is. It's so brutally hot. This is another reason to go in the summertime when you don't want to go. Like, I'll wait till football season to go, or I'll go in the spring. Why would I go in the summer? Well, baseball, man. Well, check out the new stadium.
I think this is a random hill to charge up, and I'm so glad that you're doing it. We'll talk Tigers next hour, afternoon game. It is not good news this morning if you are just joining us. We'll get to that next here on 97.1 The Ticket.
Just scarf it all down?
I did. Spill a little water.
I'm amazed because this is not in my wheelhouse. I don't eat quickly.
Yeah.
I don't shovel stuff in. I can shovel some stuff in, but I don't do it as quickly as most people do, I guess. I'm amazed at how much food you can throw in your mouth in a 4.5 minute break.
Yeah, the commercial breaks, I've gotten pretty good at finishing off a lunch in that time. I'm not always successful. Had a leftover, last night made homemade chicken burrito bowls. And
sounds good.
It was good.
I had an old roommate from college, lived with him 1 year in college, and we've been great friends actually since like middle school, or actually elementary school. But he had this uncanny ability. He would get those like Stouffer's zucchini lasagnas. Remember those back in the day?
Sure.
And he would get it and throw it in the oven, because this is before they were always in these metal tins. He couldn't microwave it.
All right.
And it would take like 60 minutes to heat up, right? When it would come out, he would eat it right away. I mean, molten lava.
Right.
I never understood how the hell could you possibly eat it, and he would throw it down in 2 minutes.
Those things will burn the roof of your mouth.
I'm like, you can't possibly have skin. How is this And to this day, he still eats like that. I'm like, man, I don't know how you can do it. He's like, I don't know. I'm used to it.
Yeah, no thanks. I got to ask you a question. I saw this with my brother-in-law over the weekend. His dog, he's got a great dog, Porter. But he's also, my brother-in-law has gotten into, he's got his own beehive.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
He's now a beekeeper.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the suit. He's got the suit.
He's got the suit.
The smoker.
He's got a smoker. He has had a walk-away split where he's got another. I think he has 4 hives now, 4 queens.
Okay. I've got a guess as to why he's doing it, but go ahead.
Okay. But we were in his backyard, and the bees were present. They weren't annoying or anything, but you would notice them.
Hey, what's that buzzing over there?
But we were sitting, he's got a little bar back there, and, he's got a TV and everything. It's great.
Yeah.
And the dog, Porter, was out there.
Oh, boy.
And here came a bee.
Oh, no.
And Porter started chomping, trying to catch the bee in its mouth. Has this ever happened with Lois?
Yes.
And how'd it go?
Somehow did not react with a yelp, like as if it got stung. It I don't know. It does and kind of bites down, and at some point I'm sure kills it, because then spits it out. Okay. I'm like, why are you doing this? Stay away from the wasp, which is in our case it's a wasp, not a bee. But yeah, I don't understand dogs sometimes.
It's funny because
or all the time.
Porter's going after this bee, and I have a sense of urgency to let my brother-in-law know. And he goes, it's just a jalapeno sky raisin. And I'm like, what?
Jalapeno sky raisin.
Yeah, that's what it is to the dog. It's a spicy.
Gotcha.
It's a spicy flying raisin. It's a jalapeno sky raisin, and I'm like, I love the term.
That is a good term.
So I just wondered if Lois ever came across a jalapeno sky raisin.
Yeah, she's come across a number of insects, and she like stares intently at it, and I'm like, what are you looking at? Then I'll go over and I'll see there's something on the ground, some kind of wounded wasp that smashed itself into the window, fell to the ground, and then starts crawling. And I'm like, do not eat that. And then she'll go, and then she spits it out.
Mm-hmm.
Is he doing the beehive thing so that he gets honey so that he can make mead? Because I know your brother-in-law likes to brew
he does
beer.
like to brew stuff. Perhaps. I haven't gotten into that. I'll ask him.
That wasn't like your first question. Like, what are you doing with a beehive?
So
let alone 4 of them.
He's got multiple beehives, and he went online and found somebody who had a swarm that they were trying to get rid of, and he went out and captured the swarm. I mean, I don't know exactly how this works, but like you go in with the suit and you find the queen, and you put the queen basically in a hive, and they all follow her, and you close it up, and boom, you take it home. And the swarm is eradicated for the person who wants the bees out of their yard, and he's got another beehive. And so, and he like he said, he sent a text that this is how empires are built.
This is how empires. I've seen there are a couple of homes in my neighborhood that I have seen that have the hives in their backyard or side yard. I was like, well, I mean, I get it. They're not going to take off and sting a bunch of people walking down the street because they're staying by the queen. They'll always do that.
So, anyway.
Enjoy your mead.
And enjoy your jalapeno sky raisin. Okay, so look, if you're just joining us and you're probably hearing the update, I mean, it's not good news. Riley Green placed on the injured list with a stress fracture in his left fibula. Caught a fly ball last night, looked uncomfortable, and now he's on the 10-day IL. It seems like optimistic to think it'll only be 10 days. He is just starting to come into his own. He's got a .296 batting average this season with 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. I think he led the majors in batting average for the month of May. So he was really starting to blossom when this happens. Now, in the timeline of his career, if you take the 30,000-foot view, this isn't the end of the world. But if you're hoping that this team can hang around in this division, this is a setback, and they had been effectively hanging around in this division. I said being a Tiger fan feels like you're working at an office where people are constantly getting laid off, and you just kind of are waiting for that pink slip to come your direction and told it's time to leave. And the Tigers have not gotten the pink slip yet. They are still there. There's evidence all around that their job might be in jeopardy as a AL Central contender, that their standing might be in jeopardy, and yet they've managed to hang around, and they're still only 2 games back, even though they've got somewhat their butts handed to them by Texas the last 2 games. Look, effectively, that news plus Eduardo Rodriguez comes down with an injury that nobody's ever heard of. He's got a pulley finger. What is a pulley ligament? Isn't that what it's technically?
Something like that, yeah. It could be. I mean, they've got him on the, is it the 10-day IL for him? Because they want to do some more tests and get a second opinion and all that. Mm-hmm. But if it is a ruptured pulley, that it could be a 6-week thing that he's out. And that's awful, because you look at how well he's pitched this year. We know the ramifications. We know he's a guy that can opt out of his contract at the end of the season. He was pitching in a way that, of course, he would opt out, because on the free agent market to get a monster contract, or at least get an extension offer from the Tigers that would be good enough to stick around, but likely was going to be a trade candidate by the trade deadline, because this team is not ready to compete for the American League. They're ready to compete for the American League Central,
right?
But not the American League. And the trade deadline's 8 weeks away. If this is a 6-week injury,
sucks.
At least that's terrible.
He's on the 15-day injured list.
15.
It is technically a left index finger pulley rupture. I mean,
rupture sounds terrible.
And news yesterday, Matt Vierling's placed on the 10-day injured list with lower back spasms. This feels very same old Lions, and I guess maybe same old Tigers. Things are getting good. And now how the hell do they continue to hang out near the top of this division with 3 critical pieces of pretty much everyday players out for a while?
Well, and they brought up Tyler Nevin. They brought up a pitcher that nobody's ever heard of, who seems like it's going to be a quick up and down for him, because they're going to bring up Reese Olson perhaps later this week.
They've already, he's starting Friday.
So, yeah, but he hasn't been brought up yet, but that's what the plan will be on Friday to make another move. It's a lineup that just has you going, I don't know how they can keep doing it. I mean, the rotation's even worse than the lineup is.
Dude, you made up the point that earlier in the show. The ace is now?
It's Michael Lorenzen. That's the ace of the staff.
Yep.
And I love how he's pitched lately. He's been great lately, but he's pitching way above his head what he has in his career. And I just don't expect him to continue to be this lights out great pitcher. Just like you didn't expect Alex Faedo to be, crazy good, pounding the strike zone, low as hell whip and, getting by. I think we can expect some good things from Faedo, but not great things. And he got lit up a little bit last night. But the rotation is, it's unbelievable how inexperienced and perhaps bad the rotation is with Lorenzen, Faedo, Matthew Boyd, soon to be Reese Olson. We got Joey Wentz going today. I mean, I don't.
It sounds like one of the worst rotations in baseball, and yet mathematically they're still right there.
Yes, they are.
But this Texas series, with the injuries and the results of the last 2 games, is effectively feeling like the Ottawa series was for the Red Wings, where mathematically the Red Wings were right in the heart of it, but it was the cold splash of water, how far away they are for competing for the whole thing. Now, I do think it's important to compete. I do think it's important to hang around 500, and I do think it's important to try and win the division. Because teams that go to the playoffs and win divisions have a better chance at attracting decent free agents. And if you can establish yourself with a young core as a 500 baseball team with like $48 million falling off the payroll, you can go out and shop and maybe get some takers. At least they'll take your call. If you're 20 games under, some of the better free agents aren't even going to listen to you. Some of even the second-tier free agents.
I've got a question regarding the division, and I wonder if there is a bit of hypocrisy that's going on, or perhaps not. But it requires an answer in order to get to the hypocrisy part. But I want to ask you about that.
All right, we'll get to that at 12:18. Also, A.J. Hinch was on the morning show. Hear what he had to say about life without Erod and maybe the best moment of last night's game. We'll get to that coming up before Tiger Baseball at 12:45, 97.1 The Ticket.
Well, it is hot out there right now. If you try to turn on your air conditioning and it's not working, that is a problem. If you look in your basement and you've got water down there, that is a problem. Solve the problem. Call the great folks over at Birmingham Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. They dropped a special offer. It's just in time to beat the heat that's here right now. Birmingham Plumbing is now including a free ultraviolet light air purifier or a high-efficiency air filter when you have both your furnace and air conditioning systems replaced. Now, in addition, they include up to a full 5-year parts and labor warranty that has annual maintenance as well. And don't be worried about that cost up front. Birmingham has got you covered there, too. They offer financing options for your new furnace or AC system for as low as $70 a month. So whether it's your air conditioning or a furnace or a pool heater, a boiler or water filtration, maybe you've got a flood in your basement or a clogged drain, cold pool, whatever the problem is, get the solution and call Birmingham Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call them today at 248-282-3971 or schedule an appointment online at birminghamplumbingco.com. Birmingham Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, your Metro Detroit boiler experts.
Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 A Ticket, open lines. Let's get back to your calls. Tom, you're on 97.1 A Ticket. What's up, Tom?
Hi, guys. Great show.
How are you?
Hey, I just wanted to ask you, do you think with the Red Wings in the situation they're at, do you think they're going to go after a goal-scoring guy under 30 like Marner or Nylander with Toronto? Or do you think they might get somebody more gritty like Hathaway with Boston or was it Riley? O'Reilly with Toronto or Boston? I forget which team.
I would try and call Timo Meyer's people and
really?
And shoot for the moon and it'll make them say no, and that's fine. But
didn't he just get moved, Doug?
Yeah, he just got traded from San Jose to Jersey.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
It would be
a free agent, right?
Yeah, he's a free agent. He didn't resign, right? I'm making sure, but yeah, he would be the guy. He would be my first call, but that doesn't. I got to be honest. I'm not going to blow smoke up your channel. I haven't gone too far down the Red Wing offseason to-do list yet.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just pulling at straws here, but
yeah.
I don't even know if Toronto will let go of any of that top four.
Well, it sounds like they're willing to listen to offers as they should. I mean, they finally this year advanced to past the first round of the playoffs, but they're firing everybody again. And there goes the GM, there goes the coach, and they have to seriously think about what they're doing because they just have too much talent that's not getting the job done. Why not go ahead and make a trade if you're Toronto? And should the Red Wings be interested? Absolutely, the Red Wings should be interested. But the problem with making trades is you have to give up something to get something. And the Red Wings do have a ton of assets right now. I feel like those assets are going to be used more to try to move up in the draft, this upcoming draft, than they are maybe to get a player.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be both. I mean, there's no way they're going to move up to number 1 in the draft. That's not going to happen. Bedard's going to go to Chicago. But do they have enough to move up into the top 5? They definitely have enough to do it. Will Yzerman pull the trigger on something like that? You don't know. That's one thing with Steve Yzerman is you don't know what his draft board looks like. When he took Mo Sider, everybody went, what's that? You did who? What? And, of course, it was a great pick. So does he have another player like that in mind that he knows is going to be available at 9 or available at 6 and he needs to trade up to get in the top 5 spot and he'll take somebody – people are like, what? Why would you take – okay, I guess you're Steve Yzerman. It works.
So they've got 5 picks in the top 43.
Yeah, they got 3 in a row in the second round.
And so that feels like you could package a whole bunch together and move up, yes. So I hear you. It's a lot of capital. I bet they don't pick at 9, 17, 41, 42, and 43.
It's funny how there's that talent disparity, or it's just because there's too many positions, and it's so different in the NFL than it is in the NHL. But it's like if you were in this situation in the NFL and you offered all 5 of those picks to move up to get 1 spot, you could move that up to get the top spot in the draft, right? NHL, you can't do that.
No. Okay. AJ Hinch, Tiger manager, on the morning show. We told you about all the injuries that have been announced since our last program, which was a grim 20 hours off the air for us. And one of the bigger news is life without Eduardo Rodriguez. What's it going to look like for the Tigers? Here's what AJ Hinch told the morning show. I love the term the downstream effect, right? When you lose Eduardo Rodriguez, the downstream effect is the impact on the bullpen. And, yeah, I mean, Reese Olson's going to get the call Friday, right? Reese Olson's last 3 outings in Toledo have been 5 innings, and I think it's 4 1/3. So he's probably not going 8 on Friday.
No.
And that means somewhere along the line, somebody's going to have to pick it up Saturday, Sunday, because you're going to need some long stretches out of the bullpen. You might see some games where a starter's getting shelled or a reliever's getting shelled, and AJ just lets them keep going because, all right, this game's lost. Let's not deplete our bullpen trying to keep from losing 14-2 instead of 9-2.
Right, but this is where, guys in the on the staff like Chasen Shreve, Tyler Alexander, this is where these guys need to eat up an extra inning or two when they get their opportunities, because you can't just go to your 7, 8, 9 plan. You have to have other guys step up, and the starters have to. I mean, Matthew Boyd, his ERA in a season is just under 6. He's got to step it up. Joey Wentz, this is today his last shot of staying in the rotation. His ERA is just south of 8. It's not good. Alex Faedo is a 5.5 ERA. These are their options at starter right now, and it's unfortunate because you had a guy that maybe you were kind of depending on in Spencer Turnbull this year, and he's out with a neck strain right now, and don't know when he's going to come back. But that's another guy that has to come back. He wasn't pitching all that well beforehand. His ERA was 7.25. Who are you counting on? I mean, the best of the bunch is Michael Lorenzen, and he's pitched awfully well this year. And his ERA is 3.5, but I don't expect him to keep pitching at that level. They need to have. I don't know if they're going to be able to. Maybe they find somebody who's some veteran that's trying to make a team right now that is a free agent at this point, but they're getting ready, healthier from an injury or something. They have to find another pitcher.
In the meantime, the manager was asked, are you feeling the buzz from fans? Is it tangible to the team that this team is hanging around near the top of the division? Here's what he said. Are we ready to wake up and be? Yes, we are very, very, very ready to get behind a baseball team. So see what happens from here on out. All right, you had the hypocrisy before the break. What were you referencing?
Yeah, it feels like if I asked you best team in the division, you'd probably say quickly Minnesota, right?
Yep.
And I think most people would say, yeah, it's Minnesota. Does anybody say Minnesota has no shot when it comes to competing in the American League? Like when it comes to the playoffs?
I haven't given that some thought. I mean, is it what's being said in Minnesota?
Right. Because we say that about Detroit, and Detroit was up until a couple days ago a game behind Minnesota.
Right.
And we have yet to see them play against Minnesota, but I just wonder that. It feels like we're condemning the Tigers for even trying to compete. Some people are when they call into the show or ticket texters, whatever. Like they shouldn't even try because they can't compete. Well, the Twins, are you saying the same thing about the Twins?
They're 2 games ahead of Detroit. Probably the biggest difference, if you look, a little bit deeper, is Minnesota is 6-7 against the American League East. Detroit is 2-14.
But if you look at interleague play or the against the National League, Minnesota's 8-10. The Tigers are 11-5.
So we'll cross that bridge when we get to the World Series. Advantage of Detroit.
Precisely. I just think it's interesting that it's like Detroit has no shot. Well, what about Minnesota? Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah. Well, they're right close to each other.
All right, straight ahead. When Miggy got sent on the base hit to left It was a funny moment last night. Get A.J. Hinch's perspective. That at 12:33, Tiger Baseball's afternoon game will follow here on 97.1 The Ticket. Hey, welcome those of you streaming on the Odyssey app. Download it for your mobile device today. AUDACY. If you don't need it now, trust me, you will someday. You'll be out of town and you hear about a huge trade that took place in Detroit. And you go, oh, what's that app again? Well, get it now. It's free. AUDACY. Then you can stream our station from anywhere in the United States.
Wait, who got hurt?
Right, exactly. Who's hurt this time? Also streaming to our website, 971theticket.com. And Gator, the video streamed on Twitch, twitch.tv. Search up 971 The Ticket. Take advantage of the streaming chat there. There's a lot of people chiming in on the streaming chat. Also YouTube TV. We are available there as well. So all ways to take in the program. We are going to get to that A.J. Hinch soundbite about Miggy getting waved in. It was a fun play last night. All speed and athleticism. Still Miguel Cabrera. But Shams Charania is a story just breaking. The Pistons are seriously pursuing 2022 NBA Coach of the Year Monty Williams to be their new head coach and are preparing a significant offer. They've already made an offer. And he said no. The Pistons are going back, and they are prepared to offer him in the range of $10 million per year, league sources said, which would put him amongst the league's highest paid coaches. So I went to him once. He said he wasn't interested. He had declined. Said he was going to sit out the year.
Do you like cash?
Can I interest you in more
money?
So, I mean, there's a few things going on here. One is the idea that the candidates they've interviewed haven't blown their doors off in Kevin Ollie and Charles Lee. Kevin Ollie, the coach with the G League Ignite, and Lee, an assistant in Milwaukee. They just keep going back, and they want Monty Williams. And it sounds like Tom Gores doesn't want to take no for an answer.
Well, I'd feel more comfortable with Monty Williams than the leading three candidates that were assistants or Kevin Ollie. I definitely feel better about Monty Williams. If he turns him, now that this is public, if he turns him down, what does that say? Does it say something about how the Pistons are perceived, or is that just simply what Monty Williams is like? Dude, I can sit out and get paid $21 million for the next few years to do nothing.
So the thing about it is, it felt like Detroit finally had a chip that people would be interested in playing with and coaching in Cade Cunningham. And that lost steam quickly when he got hurt last year. And I don't know that – I feel like it's almost like a forgotten thing that Cade Cunningham, his career is off to a promising start. Now, is he going to be one of the top 5 players in the league? Maybe not. Is he going to be one of the top 15 players in the league? Maybe. I mean, he's so young. The thing about this roster, and it's something to consider, is you look at players, when they're in their prime. It's not when they're 22 and 23. Yeah, some guys are special. But players start winning championships. Some of the key components start winning championships in their mid to late 20s. I think Steph was 26. LeBron was 27. Jordan was 28 when they won their first championships. And Cade Cunningham was taken number 1 overall. So if he's going to develop into one of these, now those guys are transcendent elite players.
Right.
So, but when were they more ready to win titles? It was a little bit later on after they'd been in a league for a minute. And so, I mean, that's why I would consider if you could really get a look at Jaylen Brown. I'm not sure that you can. I think other teams have more to offer. But Jaylen Brown is kind of getting that point in his career in spite of his flaws. So it's not that you're about to become elite. It's that you're about to become the best version of you, potentially. And that's why when you look at the Pistons roster and the player they're leaning on, they're still years away from that. Now, does Monty Williams want to take on this project? Well, maybe for $10 million a year. Maybe for $10 million a year.
If he's the right guy for the job, great. Then offer him what I really don't care what they're paying a coach, and neither should anybody else. It has no effect on the salary cap. This is an owner that's willing to spend money. Okay, spend the money. It's a drop in a bucket for a billionaire to commit money to a coach when it ends up being just a few $1 million more per year than maybe what you'd give one of these other highly thought of assistants. So if this is the right guy, he's the right guy, make the offer and hopefully he accepts. But this thing has played out a long time for them not to have a coach signed. And I wondered if this is like a case where maybe they're even eyeballing an assistant that's in the finals now. Is that why things have taken so long? That they want to talk to somebody from Denver or somebody from Miami. Is that possible? I suppose it's possible. But I'm glad to hear that at least it shows this. The perception now is that Tom Gores is willing to step up and try to get somebody of substance here. They didn't take it lightly. Whatever it was a week ago when the news broke, the Pistons offered Monty Williams a deal a week and a half ago, and he turned them down. Well, now it's public that he's coming back and they've upped the offer. I think that speaks well of an owner that's kind of been taking a bunch of hits lately.
So does he want to take on the project as one? He and Troy Weaver have a history, and Troy Weaver was in Oklahoma City when Monty Williams was assistant at Oklahoma City. And so they know each other reasonably well. I mean, look, this is potentially, a bold move by Tom Gores, who I mean, do you think of him as a popular owner?
No.
Would this make him more popular?
I think it takes a step in that direction. Yeah. I mean, if you go on the far left or far right scale, if far left is people don't like him and far right is they love him, I think you start to step towards the right. But I think he's pretty far to the left at this point.
Yep.
But yeah, I think fans would appreciate this. Like, for people that always say, "Oh, our teams will never spend money. They're afraid owners don't spend this, they don't spend that." And hey, this guy's willing to pay $10 million a year for a coach.
Well, and a coach that comes in with the credibility of having coached Devin Booker and helped develop Devin Booker, and obviously had Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton and Kevin Durant. I mean, it was an impressive roster that never really was fully healthy and together. It never came together there. But
when you mention those players, and then you look at the Pistons roster and you see Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and a Jalen Duren, can you see some similarities in what those great players were?
Yeah.
And then you've got the 5th pick in this draft and do something with it. That's going to be interesting if they trade up or they trade back, what they do. They've got Bogdanovich as well,
who seems to be in every trade proposal that anybody puts together with this team.
As he probably should be, because he's got, a year or two left on the deal? 1 year left on the deal?
Yeah.
We'll see.
He's not getting any younger. All right, well, that is a story from Sham Charania of The Athletic and Stadium, that the Pistons aren't done in their pursuit of Monty Williams. They're going to go back, and they're talking about making him one of the most highly paid. Look, this is one of those deals where you just don't want to get outbid. If there's any chance he's going to come back, you want to make sure you have the best offer on the table. And apparently that's what Tom Gores is willing to do, to try and get his guy and come in and take over a young roster like he did in Phoenix and see if he can develop into. He averaged 53 wins a season in Phoenix. So
it's not bad.
Nope. We would take that. All right, so there you go. We'll be monitoring that. Maybe there'll be more to report after Tiger baseball. Tigers try and salvage a game here. It's been a bad news kind of day for the Tigers. Be good to get a win and try and at least stay close to the top of the division. That is next. Stay safe, everyone, and treat each other with respect.